series. The winner heads to Omaha to continue a trek towards a national championship. Arkansas, the top-seeded team remaining, and the Razorbacks got elite pitching and great power hitting yesterday as they look to go to Omaha for the 12th time in school history. And Tennessee trying to defend its national championship. The Volunteers need a win today to force a decisive Game 3 tomorrow. Here's how it unfolded yesterday. Big hit from Ryder Helfrich, a 2-run home run to put Arkansas in front. Charles Davalon provided the dagger late, and Zach Rote and Gabe Gackle were both magnificent on the mound, combining to hold this powerful Tennessee offense to just 2 hits. And that leaves Arkansas 1 win away from Omaha. The rest of this side of the bracket that will face off in Omaha, Murray State pasting Duke right now, trying to force a Game 3 tomorrow in Durham. It'll be LSU, West Virginia later, and UCLA, UTSA right about now. Here we are. Tom Hart, Chris Burke, Kyle Peterson. Great to be with you. There's no denying that this Super Regional is one of the most anticipated, and a big reason, the energy, the emotion, the passion, and that was in full display yesterday.
It sure was. 2 heavyweights of the sport going toe-to-toe with a trip to Omaha on the line. Tennessee's going to send Liam Doyle to the mound. I think the energy and the juice suits him perfectly. Can he match this Arkansas lineup that fared very well against him last time out? Going to be exciting with the trip to Omaha on the line.
College baseball's Heisman Trophy is called the Golden Spikes Award. We've got 2 of the 3 finalists right here.
Yeah, and 2 guys that have been as good as anybody in the country this year. For Liam Doyle, SEC Pitcher of the Year, comes in second in the country in strikeouts. Good get to first today. And Fayetteville Loy, the SEC Player of the Year, 20 home runs, solid shortstop, a guy that started every game at the position since he came on campus 2 years ago. It is best on best with a trip to Omaha on the line.
A pair of first-rounders going head-to-head today, and the emotional centerpiece of this Tennessee program, second in the country in strikeouts. Arkansas can seal a trip to Omaha. Tennessee standing in its way. First pitch from Fayetteville next.
The new How to Train Your Dragon menu is now at BK. Get it before it disappears. Oh, toothless. Bold, tasty, and dangerously delicious. How to Train Your Dragon. Coming to theaters June 13th.
Onboard Wi-Fi that goes wherever you go. How it should be. The Hyundai Elantra.
Now, for a limited time, get 2.99% APR on the Hyundai Elantra or Elantra Hybrid. Visit your local Hyundai dealer.
Telling me when I switch to T-Mobile, you'll give me an iPhone 16 Pro. You'll help pay off my old phone, and I still get to keep it?
That's right. No trade-in.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
No!
Yes. Also at T-Mobile, you save at least 20% versus the other big guys.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma. Box of raisins. I'm a mom. A balloon. Banana peel.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile, get a new iPhone 16 Pro on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your old phone up to $800.
Take whatever you want.
Look, Mom, I found one.
Oh, yeah, you did, but we need an ATM from our bank, unless you want to spend a small fortune in fees.
No, thank you. Banking with BMO means more fee-free ATMs than the 2 largest U.S. banks combined, including places like pharmacies and grocery stores.
Saving money and more convenient. Look at you being so helpful.
What'd you expect? You're studying at a help stop.
That's you.
That's me, at a desk.
BMO.
You can still leave. You still have a choice.
Cool.
Ballerina, rated R.
Here we go. 3-seed Arkansas, 14-seed Tennessee from Baum Walker Stadium. Arkansas with a One-run victory yesterday. As much success as they had getting hits and striking people out, Tennessee still kept it close. They can do that when they're third in the country in home runs. Game 2 of this series means Tennessee is the home team. They're in the home white, and Liam Doyle making his second appearance in Baum-Walker this season. The junior from Derry, New Hampshire, is second in the country in strikeouts. KP, what do you got for a scouting report?
Pretty good combination, Tom. I'm glad you asked. It's a mid to upper 90s fastball. And for Doyle, we talked about the strikeouts. It's really the combination of stuff. The split is outstanding. We don't see it a ton, but when he throws it, it is. We'll cut a fastball at 90-91. And we've seen him up to 99 to 100 miles an hour this year. When it is in the zone, it forces the other team to be, in this case Arkansas, much more aggressive out of it. That plays right into his hand.
Berkey, this Arkansas lineup is as good as it gets. Top 5 in the country in home runs. They're also hitting .313 as a team.
Yeah, 10 hits yesterday. Did a nice job of getting on bases. Maybe didn't cash in as much as they could have, but that man right there, Chuck Davalon, as they call him, came up with the game-winning hit. One of the best leadoff men in America, and hitting .460 against left-handers. He gets the leadoff job here against one of the nation's best lefties.
Hogs have 6 hitters batting .300 or better in the postseason. They are 4-0 since this NCAA tournament started. And Davalon has been sensational in the leadoff role, .353 overall. He's hitting .466 as the leadoff hitter. 4th most hits to lead off any inning in the entire country. It is sun splashed on this Sunday afternoon. Temperature pushing 90 degrees. We expect the emotion to redline as well as Doyle delivers a first pitch strike at 96. Davalon's coming off of a 2-for-3 performance yesterday. He had a key at bat late in the game in the 6th inning. And the sophomore from Montreal, Quebec, Canada, delivered with a first pitch RBI single. Doyle misses up with 98.
So, guys, Doyle has gone off the back of the mound 3 straight pitches now. Yeah. This is very unique for him. It almost feels like maybe part of the game plan where he's trying to slow this Arkansas offense down a little bit. I haven't seen him take that kind of time.
I would just say this in general. I don't like him changing his game plan. I mean, Doyle's game plans work pretty well this year, and generally it is get it and go.
Interesting.
The counter to that is his 2 starts in this ballpark last year for Ole Miss and this year for Tennessee have not gone well. And he plunks Davalon on a 2-2.
That hit the knob, didn't it?
That's what Tony Vitello believes.
Yeah, it sounded like it.
Yeah. Yeah, that ball went all the way to dugout. Nope. No, definitely hit his elbow.
This one will be quick.
Wow, that ball ricocheted a long way off the elbow, but yeah, that one won't take long.
That's what 97 will do.
Tennessee is challenging the hit-by-pitch ruling. Plays under further review.
Maybe he's got those new titanium elbow pads.
Yeah, I think that elbow pad has some good protection to it because, number one, first of all, thank goodness he looks okay. You certainly don't want to play this game without your star leadoff hitter, but I kind of had the same reaction. As far as that ball bounced, you'd have thought it would have hit metal, but it clearly hit his elbow. Watch the elbow pad. It almost separates there. And I'm just glad he's all right. Clearly the padding helped, but it almost looked like it hit the middle of it. But you said it, Tommy. Doyle has not been great here, and you almost wonder if the pause is that something new that does it have to do with the heat and maybe just trying to conserve some energy between pitches? I don't know. It's interesting though to see him kind of change his mid-pitch routine.
Do you think at the same time, Kyle, that maybe it keeps his RPMs down a little bit because we know he can run hot? Is that possibly playing into
this
game
If I'm Tennessee,
plan?
I want him to run hot. I think that's when he's been at his best. It clearly is a different look in between pitches than we've seen regularly this year. And this crowd is always into it. You're going to hear them get pretty loud here in a second when they uphold this, and we're only a hitter in.
There must be some other reviews going on, because this one you wouldn't have thought would take him very long.
This seemed pretty straightforward.
I'm watching the other 3 games. I don't see any other reviews.
I don't know why this one's taking longer than putting the headset on and taking it right back off. Unless they're reviewing whether he made a move at the ball, which I didn't think either, right?
Well, that'd be overthinking it. Yeah, it was fastball boring in on him.
Yeah, again, I'm shocked this is taking so long.
Come on, boys. Let's go.
After review, the hit by pitch will stand. Tennessee is charged a challenge and has 1 remaining.
Surprised this wasn't confirmed, KP. I don't know if that's, did they feel like the elbow? I don't know. Either way, the ball hit him.
Surprised it wasn't confirmed, right?
Well, yeah, we right.
That's the right call.
Yeah, I got it right.
So Davalon aboard and Vahiva Aloy coming to the plate. He was hitless yesterday, 0 for 4. SEC Player of the Year, Golden Spikes Award finalist. And Doyle misses low with his first offering to Vahiva Aloy.
He's not getting a low strike early. That's for sure. That would look pretty good. That was the first pitch split right there.
When Doyle threw here 3 weeks ago, Berkey, it seemed to be that he was over-reliant on his fastball early. Arkansas sat on it. He didn't really, even though he struck out double digits, he didn't really mix his pitches until later.
Yeah, second and third time, too, he definitely, or third time through, he definitely started mixing more. I assumed that would be part of the game plan today, but of course, you got to land that all-speed stuff to get him off your fastball.
Got tagged for 11 hits, including 3 home runs, and the breaking ball. This misses up, and the count is now 3-0. Davalon at first, and a fastball groove for a strike right now in College at 96.
Well, KP, you said in the open, best on best, power on power. I think you're going to get exactly that right here in a 3-1 count.
Davalon's got 9 bags on the year, being held by Andrew Fisher. Well, the other aspect of Doyle's very deliberate pace here is certainly that impacts the rest of the guys behind him.
To a degree. I mean, today's world, you can only be so deliberate because you are actually on a clock. But it does feel a little more methodical today from Doyle.
Eva Aloy has a couple of home runs in the postseason. Pops this one up sky high. It's Fisher in front of the Arkansas dugout. And a late adjustment for the first out. And you saw, by the way, Tennessee catcher Cannon Peebles take off his mask. He's back in the lineup today after serving a 1-game suspension for being ejected in Game 7 of the Knoxville Regional.
That one feels really big, really early right there. You go leadoff man on 3-0 count to Aloy and get a pop-up that is in foul territory. That seems like a big out right now.
Here's Logan Maxwell, dozen home runs, 31 driven in. He had a couple of hits yesterday. Reached base his first 3 times to the plate with a pair of singles and a walk.
Doyle been red hot coming into today for the postseason, 400 with a couple homers and 4 ribbies. Also had a long ball the first 2 times these 2 teams met a couple weeks ago. He was only the second left-handed hitter of the season to take Doyle deep. So there's some history here between these two.
Nothing in 2.
Man, it is crazy how Doyle has slowed the pace of this game down in the first. He is really operating in a pace that I'm not familiar with him.
Here's the 0-2. And just off the plate. Missed with 98.
I think he's starting to get loose, though.
Yeah, he may be moving a little bit slower, but the arm isn't moving any slower when he's making a move to home plate.
It's really weird, isn't it? This whole entire approach.
It is. And he's been picking throughout the course of the year. He's not been adverse to at least paying some attention to base runners, but it feels more than normal here early on.
Came in on him and fouled it off. Mike, Gabby, thank you. We welcome those of you who watch Louisville secure its 6th trip to Omaha with the dog pile at home. Tom Hart, Chris Burke, Kyle Peterson, and we've got Liam Doyle on the mound for Tennessee in a must-win game for the Volunteers after Arkansas took game 1 yesterday by a 4-3 final. Doyle second in the country in strikeouts, but if you're just joining us, he's really changed his approach in this game. He's been very deliberate and very slow as he faces Logan Maxwell here with 1 on and 1 out. And Maxwell sends it into the jet stream in left field. Dalton Bargo has space and hauls it in. Wind about the same as it was yesterday. 2 down now. Davalon was hit by a pitch to start this game, and it brings Ryder Helfrich to the plate. KP, explain what we've been seeing from Liam Doyle so far.
Pace towards home plate, very different than we're used to seeing. Pitch selection's a little bit different too. That was probably the 5th split that he's already thrown in his game, and we're 3 hitters in. That was elevated, and one that Maxwell could have handled, just didn't get the barrel to it. So definitely something to follow, because we've seen him a lot this year, a lot over the last couple of years, and the deliberate nature that he's got on the mound is a little bit different than we're used to seeing.
And he's returning to the scene of the crime, his worst outing of the season 3 weeks ago here against the Hogs, as Ryder Helfrich digs in. The Arkansas catcher down in the count, taking 97 for a strike, 0-1. In that outing against Arkansas back on May 16th, Doyle allowed 11 hits. He did strike out 10, but was tagged for 8 runs, 6 of them earned, and 3 home runs. And another lob over to first base. Doyle strikes out 43% of the batters he faces on the season. That is an absurdly high rate.
And as you said, Tommy, he got plenty of swings and misses the first time around. It just, Arkansas was really good at making him pay for his mistakes, including this guy right here, Ryder Helfrich, who launched one off of him. And he's been doing a lot of launching lately, one of the hottest hitters in college baseball throughout the month of May, and has kept it going here in the postseason, hitting at a cool 500 clip so far in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, and those 7 hits, 4 of them have left the ballpark, including a wall scraper yesterday. That is the 6th throw over to first base from Liam Doyle to go with 19 pitches here in the first. You said earlier, Kyle, that you don't like changing things up in the postseason as Doyle has done.
It just feels different. I don't know if it's intentional or not, but it feels a little bit different.
And a snap throw from Peebles, who's back in the lineup after serving a one-game suspension. And is that just kind of big picture? If something worked for you all season, why change it in the biggest game of the year?
Well, that was a called pick.
Yeah.
Right there, 0-2. So, I mean, we've picked 5 or 6 times already. And then that time 0-2, I mean, essentially a pitch out. It's a fastball away to try to give you a shot to pick the runner off.
They had a couple of those called with Marcus Phillips on the mound yesterday, too. Helfrich goes down swinging at 97. And so Doyle, who's second in the country in strikeouts, gets 1 K in the first inning. But his delivery and his pace certainly something to keep an eye on throughout this one. Tennessee is the home team, so they'll get to the plate here for the first time. And we look back on how Arkansas got it yesterday. It was Ryder Helfrich with a 2-run home run in the 5th inning as the teams traded runs. Charles Davalon had the game winner. Zach Root pitched with plenty of passion, and Gabe Gackel finished what Root started as those 2 Arkansas hurlers held Tennessee in its powerful offense to just 2 hits. So here's what we got. Murray State, formerly the Thoroughbreds, now the Racers, racing out to a 19-8 lead against Duke. Looks like they will force a Game 3, and we may just get one as well. Hey, everybody, Tom Hart, Chris Burke, Kyle Peterson. We started this game talking about the emotion, but so far, because of this pace, it just kind of feels like Sunday afternoon golf match.
Yeah, it really does. It almost feels like Liam Doyle, part of his plan is to drain some of the emotion from the building, and I would say by posting a 0 and being methodical, he did that.
The stuff is still good.
Yeah.
I mean, he was up to 99 in the first, so methodical or not, the stuff still plays, and stuff played the entire year for Liam Doyle. Ultimately, it's as good a stuff as you will see from any starter. Second in the country in strikeouts, and he's already faced Fayetteville Aloy today. Got 3-0, worked it back to 3-2, and got a pop-up. But Aloy, the SEC Player of the Year, 2 of the 3 finalists for the Golden Spikes going head-to-head today.
Aloy plays an airtight defense. He's projected as a number 13 pick and a first-rounder in this summer's draft. I know we're half inning into this, so you've got a little bit of room to wiggle, but who's got the advantage today?
Tennessee, because they threw a 0 up to start. So we'll take the
you'll take
small
the odds.
Sample set advantage right now.
Doyle spending some time with the athletic trainer in the Tennessee dugout. Here's a look at Gage Wood. The junior from Batesville, Arkansas, has bounced back from a shoulder injury in a big way. He's 3-1, making just his 9th start, but he has struck out 50 in only 25 1/3 innings.
Yeah, if he qualified from an inning standpoint, he'd lead the country in strikeouts per 9. His strikeout percentage is actually a little bit higher than Doyle. It's a mid to upper 90s fastball that'll play at the top of the zone.
Here's a look at the batting order for Tennessee. They are 3rd in the country in home runs with 130. And the second team in SEC history, joining the late 90s LSU squad with 4 straight seasons over the century mark in long balls. But yesterday, not a single leadoff hitter got on base for the Volunteers. They finished with only 2 hits. And Wood misses inside with 94, and the first offering to Gavin Keelan.
2 hits, but true to form, they were both long balls. And because of that, they somehow made a game interesting where they only had 2 knocks.
Keelan Jr. from Milton, Wisconsin. He should be happy. His former teammates at Louisville have now advanced to Omaha with the win against Miami. 2-0.
Congratulations to the Cardinals, by the way. When Dan McDonald took over the University of Louisville, they had been to 1 regional. 18 years later, they've now advanced to their 6th College World Series. That's pretty remarkable.
And a curveball in for a strike, 2-1.
I think that one is going to be the key today for Wood. Fastball control is great. He's walked 5 and struck out 50 this year, so generally fastball control is there. It's the ability to land a breaking ball that'll keep him off that fastball.
Misses up, 3-1. Wood last time out in the regional struck out 13 and didn't walk a batter over 6 innings. We talked about Doyle's strikeout rate. He Ks 46% of batters he faces. It wasn't until the Tennessee series about 3 weeks ago where Wood was finally pitching with no restrictions, working his way back, and he's good for as long as they need him today. It's almost like picking up a guy at the trade deadline.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
They had high hopes for him coming into the season, but as you said, Tommy, was banged up, didn't deliver from an inning standpoint quite as much as they had hoped, but man, has he been effective.
Keelan pulls the breaking ball foul.
The whiff rate on the fastball, normal college baseball, 18%. His is 45. So the ability to get swings and misses on a fastball, and then as KP said, pair it with a breaking ball that usually comes out of the same window, is why you see that strikeout rate so high, striking out almost half the hitters he's faced this season.
Keelan was 0 for 3 yesterday. And this one's lifted towards left. Charles Davalon has plenty of space. And fly ball for the first out. This is a very passionate Tennessee team, and a couple of guys that represent that. Of course, head coach Tony Vitello. He's got the most wins in Division I baseball since 2018, including a national championship. Liam Doyle on the mound, and this puzzle piece, Andrew Fisher, who would probably be proud if you told him he was the most hated man in Northwest Arkansas this weekend. You heard the chorus of boos when he was introduced. He extended his on-base streak with a 9th-inning laser home run last night. And he has reached base safely in every game this season.
He was right in the middle of the circus, the energy, the passion, fill in your blank of whatever we call it, yesterday between him and Zach Root, and he loved every second of it. No hard feelings on his side of it.
I think the passion that he plays with that gathers a lot of attention camouflages the fact that he is a very cerebral player and hitter.
Yeah, no, he was talking about yesterday just how Root got him out on 2 fastballs up, but then he was able to get Gackle his last at bat on that home run on a fastball up. And that's what he does right there that I think makes him so special. He can put the brakes on a swing, KP, as well as anybody I've seen in the college
And he
game.
does it a lot to where the hands start to move. You think there's going to be a swing, and then he holds up. That time, difference between a 3-0 and a 2-1 count. We'll see if they turn him loose here.
He can hit a fastball as good as anybody. And that one was up. It's a 4-pitch walk. And Fisher is aboard here in the opening frame with Hunter Ensley coming to the plate.
The streak stays alive for another day. Got that one out of the way early.
And a rarity, a free pass from this Arkansas staff. It's only the 9th walk in 4 NCAA tournament games. Dave Van Horn talked about their regional win. He said, listen, we didn't make mistakes. We didn't walk batters. We didn't kick the ball around. We didn't give our opponents extra chances. The on-base streak is the longest streak in Division I. Wood delivers a strike, 0-1 to Ensley.
Well, these are the 2 guys that are going to have to get going if Tennessee's going to be able to win this series. Hunter Ensley and Dalton Bargo combined just 4 for 39 so far in NCAA tournament play. That trend's going to have to change because it's just hard to believe this team's going to be able to produce enough offense if they don't get some production out of 3 and 4 in this lineup.
And the micro of that, the top 4 hitters in the game yesterday for Tennessee went a combined 1 for 15. Runner on for Ensley. And a painted fastball at 96. What makes the fastball so hard to hit? When the velocity is good, borderline great, but we see 99 all the time.
We do. I mean, 96 is still fairly firm to get it up there, but it's the carry of it is the biggest thing. And like Berkey was talking about, the combination with the overhand breaking ball that really plays well back and forth.
And he sends this one to center field, pushing Justin Thomas Jr. shy of the track, and now on to the cinders, or just short. Couple of flyouts, sandwich a walk. Dave Van Horn has never lost at home to Tennessee as Arkansas's head coach. In fact, the program hasn't lost at home to Tennessee since Chris Burke was wearing that orange uniform. 2001.
That's a long time ago.
Tell me about it.
Wow, is that a long time?
Van Horn looking to take Arkansas back to Omaha for what would be the 12th time. Here's Dalton Bargo. He's an Omaha native. First pitch upstairs at 95. Bargo's one of those guys that has labored throughout the postseason. 0 for 4, couple of strikeouts yesterday. Just 1 for 20 overall. And Tony Vitello, coming into the Super Regional, talked about the summation of Tennessee's season as it took them a while to kind of figure out a handful of pieces. It was the infield defense, and they shuffled some guys around. It was third base and left field, and they settled on Bargo in left field. He had played some third as well. But that is a vacancy in the lineup right now.
Yeah, Tennessee did some mixing and matching for a good part of the season, really. And then finally, when they arrived here in Fayetteville, Tony Vitello finally was like, this is what we're going with. Manny Marron's going to play third base. Dalton Bargo's going to be in left field. And we're going to go with Levi Clark at the DH spot because they have a very talented roster where you could make the case for 4 or 5 different pieces being in those spots. But since then, they've had the same order consistently and kept the same defensive look as well.
These are 2 of the most talented teams in the country combined when you look at draft prospects.
Yeah, I think you'll see, and LSU will probably be right there with them, but these 2 teams will probably have the most players selected, certainly in the top 100 picks.
1 on and 2 out. Here's a 2-2 from Gage Wood. And a curveball sent in the air to left field, a broken bat. How often do you see that? The bat ends up at second base. Aloy handled the ball. Kojal grabs the bat.
Maybe one of those days where you see some stuff you haven't seen before, boys. It just kind of has a feeling. Well, breaking ball in on his hands, and this may happen in a year, but you don't see it happen very often right now. All of that in a scoreless first in Fayetteville.
Fire it up.
The all-new Dragon Flame Grilled Whopper is here at BK. Bold, juicy, flame grilled, and ready for adventure. Experience a new kind of flame at Burger King. How to Train Your Dragon, coming to theaters June 13th.
The Kia K4 and K5 represent what comes next. The next movement for innovation. And the next movement for acceleration. The Kia K4 and K5.
Kia, movement that inspires.
Powering Chicago, we power what matters. From the most mission-critical projects like hospitals, transportation hubs, and data centers, IBEW Local 134 electricians and the Electrical Contractors Association build the complex systems Chicagoland relies on. Experience the expertise a Powering Chicago member can bring to your next project with a commitment to safety and training. Find your next electrical contractor at poweringchicago.com. We power what matters.
A packed house again at Baum Walker Stadium. Had over 10,000 in the ballpark yesterday, and probably a few more than that, including that man who was a local hero.
That's your buddy.
Yeah, that's our
guy.
Put
on
right
a show
there
for you guys a couple weeks ago. I have a feeling it's not just you guys, but he's back at it, well hydrated already.
Yeah, it's 2:34 local time, but high noon in his world. Here's the younger of the 2 Aloys. Kuyo Aloy started his college career at BYU. The sophomore younger brother of Vahiva has hit 13 home runs and an SEC best 69 RBI. And he sends a pop-up to the right side. Fisher in foul ground, called off, and the wind really pushing. And Chapman handles it.
That looked like Fisher was the only one that had a play on that ball, and he clearly didn't see it great. Nice job there by Chapman of pursuing that ball all the way to the end. That is certainly an easier play for the right fielder than the first baseman. So
here's Cam Kojal. He's another Omaha native, sophomore, who spent last year at Vanderbilt. He's got an OPS over 1,000, 15 home runs, and he's having a great postseason. Similar to Fisher in this regard, he's a very smart ball player. And he's looking to return home where his dad is a groundskeeper both for the AAA team, the Farm Club of the Royals, and at Charles Schwab Field. He's been going to Rosenblatt as a youngster, goes to the World Series, he said, almost every year growing up in Omaha. And, of course, with his dad working it. And he grew up in that AAA Royals clubhouse, and a line drive to right field. Kozel's got a knock.
KP, back to that split finger that we've seen Liam Doyle featuring quite often here early in this ball game, but that one just kind of sitting right down Broadway, and Cam Kozel, who is locked in right now in the postseason, hitting over 400 in this NCAA tournament, smokes that one into right field, and the Hogs have themselves a base runner here in the second.
So here's Brent Iredale. He did not have a great regional, and the junior from Sydney, Australia, did have a couple of hits in game one yesterday. And a first pitch strike at 97.
Hasn't hit a homer this postseason, but did take Doyle deep earlier in the year. 3 home runs they hit off Doyle: Iredale, Helfrich, and Maxwell. Always interesting to see how guys fare the second time around after having success, especially off this talented of an arm.
What did Arkansas do well against Doyle the first time they faced him?
They were just on time for the fastball. I think, he was coming off one of his best starts of the season. You guys called the game. He dominated Vanderbilt, 12 strikeouts, no walks, and it was primarily fastball. And I just think he ran into a team that was uber focused on getting the barrel out in front, and they just decided they were going to be okay with swinging and missing at off-speed stuff to try to capitalize on hitting the fastball.
Another lob over to first base, and these teams used to seeing velocity, whether it's during the SEC season or in the fall. 40% of the pitches in college baseball that have been thrown at 99 or higher have come from these two pitching staffs. And Doyle certainly has contributed. That one sails to the backstop at 98. And Iredale will advance on the wild pitch. 10th wild pitch of the season charged to Doyle.
Well, that would be the definition of don't give him anything good 0-2 right there. I think safely that's not going to be put in play. Almost hit his bat actually going behind him right there, but
uncomfortably wild could be a descriptor for Liam Doyle.
Yes.
Or that's not the term I'm looking for.
Effectively wild?
Effectively wild, thank you.
I mean, it'd be uncomfortable if you were Brent Iredale. This will be his 30th pitch of the game. And that one tails away. It should be mentioned that Vanderbilt start that Berkey referenced a moment ago, which was sensational, followed a weekend against Auburn when he threw twice in the same weekend. He's coming off a similar situation in the regional where he came out of the bullpen to finish up Game 7. How does that impact a pitcher?
Well, it impacts what your process is between then and now. And it's also why he didn't pitch yesterday. They bumped him back a day just to give an extra day of rest. So bullpen setup's a little bit different. Your work process is a little bit different in between. I mean, in that game, Tony Vitello said it afterwards. I never told him to go to the bullpen. He just ran down there. Had his spikes on, and if it was close, was determined to be in the game. Got the final outs to make sure Tennessee advanced.
Here's the payoff to Iredale. And a swing and a miss. Second K for Doyle.
It's amazing, and I don't envy you hitters sometimes against stuff like this. I mean, you go 98 over the top of your head. You go split about 18 inches outside and then just dot it at 97 at the knees on the outside black.
And I think, KP, that's where the term effectively wild really shows itself, because he was trying to shove that under the hands of Iredale, but it ends up being painted down and away. And
a comfortable location if you're on the mound.
It ends up being a perfect spot, maybe albeit unintentionally.
Reese Robinette at the plate, and he fouls the first one back. Robinette from Kennett, Missouri, is just 2 for 17 against lefties this year. Fills up the batter's box, 6'3", 220. Doyle typically pitches with fire, not just the fastball, but passion and fire, and runs in the red. I was talking with Andrew Fisher about that this week, and he mentioned how chill Doyle is when he's not on the mound. He was named a Golden Spikes finalist. Fisher said none of us knew, but the day it was to be announced, he walked in the clubhouse, didn't say a word to anybody, came to my locker, put his arm around me, and goes, "Bro, guess who's a Golden Spikes finalist?" Just in the most monotone, low-key way you could imagine. Thought that was strike 3.
Well, it's a heck of a take. I don't know what else you could do with it, but take that pitch by Reese Robinette, a 98-mile-an-hour fastball, about 3 inches off the outside corner, and you could tell Doyle wanted that one. Robinette, that is a really tough pitch to pull the trigger on left.
Runner at second and 2 down, and Robinette goes down swinging a 98. Back-to-back strikeouts, 1 at 97, 1 at 98. Fastball's working.
He may not have the great location so far, but he does have the great stuff. And you're not going to hit this one. 98 at the top of the zone. It just stays right there. Strikeout in the first, 2 in the second. 2 scoreless so far for Liam Doyle.
Fire it up.
The all-new Dragon Flame Grilled Whopper is here at BK. Bold, juicy, flame grilled, and ready for adventure. Experience a new kind of flame at Burger King. How to Train Your Dragon, coming to theaters June 13th.
The Kia K4 and K5 represent what comes next. The next movement for innovation. And the next movement for acceleration. The Kia K4 and K5.
Kia, movement that inspires.
It's a rare thing when someone you've been with for so long finds a way to surprise you. It's like discovering E-Trade's easy-to-use platform now comes with the power of Morgan Stanley.
Mom can speak walrus?
The NCAA Baseball Super Regionals are presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? 3 tickets have been punched. Coastal Carolina returning. Arizona back to Omaha. And Louisville, as the Cardinals came from behind to knock off Miami in a decisive Game 3. Dean Curley at the plate.
How about Arizona had to go on the road both times to get there? Go to Oregon in the regional, then all the way across the country against North Carolina in the Super.
And got hammered in Game 1.
Yeah.
Was it 18-2?
It was lots to not many.
Curley, sophomore California native. A couple of home runs this postseason of his 5 hits. And he chops this one to third. Here's Iredell. He's started all but 1 game at third. Well, let's dig into the particulars on the Chanticleers from Conway, South Carolina. Second in the country in staff ERA. They've won 23 in a row. They were the first team to secure their trip to Omaha, but don't you dare call them a Cinderella.
No, I'm dead on with this. I mean, I thought they should have been the 8 national seed. Ultimately, Oregon State got it. There was, I think, an argument there for both, but ultimately incredibly consistent, clearly. So since we've moved to Charles Schwab, nobody has come to the College World Series. with a longer win streak.
Mm. Well, that's a pretty wild stat. I think also Kevin Schnall, I think him giving the resume of his team didn't sound to me like self-promotion as much as just verifying that his program is indeed a top-shelf college baseball program, and just kind of reminding everybody, I thought in a very really fair way. It didn't sound boastful. It's just like, don't call us a Cinderella. We've swept 9 straight weekends. I mean, that's pretty insane when you think about it.
Here's Reese Chapman. Well, I think it's proof, like in other sports, you don't have to be a power conference member to be a power program. Look at Gonzaga in basketball.
Exactly
Well, and I mean, it's a program that's been incredibly consistent. I know they haven't been back to Omaha since 2016 when they won it, but they seem like they're knocking on the door every year.
Here's the 2-1 to Chapman. Davalon watches this one go to the stands.
It's actually 2 different sides of the coin, too. Louisville had lost 6 of 7 to start NCAA tournament play.
Going into it,
yeah. And then they flipped the switch and play great, and here they are in Omaha and only lost 1 game on their way to doing it. And Coastal Carolina had that great streak going. They had won 17 straight, 18 straight going into the postseason, and they just sweep right through it. So you just never know.
Upstairs to Chapman at 96 and a full count now. Well, Doyle isn't the only one in a Tennessee uniform taking his time. Chapman with a walk around the batter's box. Here's the payoff. And a curveball's lifted to left field. Davalon only has to move a couple of steps. Super Regional coverage continues tonight and Monday across all of our platforms, ESPN, ESPN2, ESPNU, and ESPN Plus. For more information, you can follow along at ncaa.com, your home for all 90 NCAA championships. Gage Wood hasn't allowed a hit. He has retired 5 of the 6 that he's faced. He did issue a walk in the first as Levi Clark stands in. Breaking ball misses. What have you seen from Gage Wood's fastball? What are the metrics telling you about it?
It looks fine. It doesn't look off the charts like you see it sometimes. I think it makes it even more important for him to land the breaking ball more often in this game.
Back-to-back breaking balls to Clark. Room service hot for Aloy. And a 1-2-3 frame worked by Arkansas's Gage Wood. Just 11 pitches that time.
The new How to Train Your Dragon menu is now at BK. Get it before it disappears. Ooh, toothless. Bold, tasty, and dangerously delicious. How to Train Your Dragon. Coming to theaters June 13th.
A blind spot that's never out of sight. How it should be. The Hyundai Tucson.
Now for a limited time, get 2.99% APR on the Hyundai Tucson. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today.
When the monsters come, all you can do is scream.
You were the last person to see the president alive. Did you kill him? They will never see us coming.
Better?
Yes, better.
SEC Pitcher of the Year, Liam Doyle, one of the best in the country. Swing and a miss, and the fastball is just special from Doyle. Strike 3 calls.
Liam Doyle has been outstanding.
Doyle toed the rubber in 2 different games for Tennessee in the regional round. He leads the country in strikeouts per 9, 15.5. He has struck out 3 through the first 2 today. And now he faces the 9-hole hitter, Justin Thomas Jr. It's a lengthy Arkansas lineup. The bottom third is as dangerous as any as you'll find. And Thomas Jr. from Savannah, Georgia's hit .284 with 9 home runs. Berkey, he was a pretty good football player back in the day, huh?
Yeah, every time I see JT fill up the batter's box, I think, man, that must have been a tall task tackling that dude in high school. So today I asked him, tell me your best high school football game. He said, well, I did have 5 touchdowns in a game once, 3 rushing, 2 receiving. And I said, man, I just keep thinking about how hard it must have been to tackle you in high school. He's like, yeah, you probably wouldn't have been able to. Real cool, just like that.
He was the Greater Savannah Football Player of the Year, and last I checked, they got some talent down there in the gridiron. 3-1 as Doyle misses.
He would have been a handful.
He was All-State in football. He was rated the number 4 outfielder in the state of Georgia. And he takes a 5-pitch walk. Second time Doyle has put the leadoff man on, once via hit by pitch. And now a walk.
Well, now you got to deal with Chuck Davalon, who one of the more talented hitters in college baseball, and we talked about it his first at bat. One of the best left-on-left hitters that you will see. Second time through, leadoff base runner. This is a time in the game where Doyle's really going to have to lock in and execute at a high level, because the next couple outs are very tough to negotiate.
Davalon was plunked in the elbow guard his first time up. Native of Montreal, Quebec, Canada. His parents are both long-distance runners. His dad from France met his mom from Ontario during an international track meet. And he came down to the States, specifically a baseball academy in Florida, to further his playing career on the diamond. That was a 27-hour road trip that he and his family took from Montreal down to Florida. And a Maple Leaf flying proudly here at Baum Walker.
They love their team. They love their flags. And because of that, it is one of the neat environments in all of college baseball. As much personality probably as any fan base in the college game.
Peebles is going to go out and have a word with Doyle. I'll give him a chance to call the Hogs here, and everybody's going to get together and have a visit.
It's been an interesting time through the lineup because there are some very big misses. And I think one of the things that Doyle has done so much better this year maybe than last year is the misses tended to be smaller over the course of the year. He's missing by a foot and a half fairly routinely. When it's right, it's really good, but there's been some scatter.
First pitch strikes is 7 of the 9 he faced first time through. These are his 2 starts at Baum Walker, 1 for Ole Miss and 1 for Tennessee. 6 earned last time out, 5 earned over 3 1/3 when he came here last season with the Rebels.
Well, and the 11 hits is kind of shocking. I mean, for somebody that has a 178 batting average against, the fact they were able to get 11 hits just tells you how sharp that offense was that day.
KP mentioned the misses. He hit Davalon, and Davalon hits this deep to right field. It is long gone in a hurry. Upper deck shot for Chuck Davalon. 2-0 Hogs. Dave Van Horn's office is in the corner of that second deck, and that one nearly ended up on his desk. First pitch breaking ball to Vahiva Aloy.
Charles Davalon.
He,
be careful.
The misses force you to come to the white of the plate. And Davalon was sitting and waiting on a fastball right there.
Back to the breaking ball, 0-2.
It's really impressive the season Charles Davalon's put together. I mean, the guy's hitting 470 off lefties. I mean, what are we doing? This kid just continues to impress. Yesterday, the game winner was off a left-hander.
And that one finds a hole on the left side. A walk, a home run, and now a single. Let's take another look at that home run.
Come on now, Chucky D. Give the people what they want. Sitting on a heater and gets one in or third. And you talk about leaning back on one, a no-doubter that puts a dent in Dave Van Horn's office window. And that will bring them to their feet. It's been a little slow here early on, but not anymore. Here comes this Razorback offense.
And now Logan Maxwell to the plate with nobody out. Home run number 14 of the season for Davalon. You mentioned the misses, KP. He's hit a batter. He sent one to the backstop. He got torched with one right over the heart of the plate. What's the level of concern with Liam Doyle if you're Tennessee?
Elevated for me right now. I mean, when it's right, it looks really good. But we talked about the approach that this Arkansas offense has. And if you get them in fastball counts and you're forced to throw the fastball, they are going to get their good swing off. They just are. We've seen it with Davalon, and that's the thing to look for. If he can get him off speed or off balance with the other stuff, the down counts don't matter quite as much. But if they force him into fastballs in fastball counts, this offense is too good.
Fisher holding Aloy. And that ball's popped up and will find the seats on the right side. Next pitch will be the 50th of the game for Liam Doyle, and he's not yet recorded an out in the third. Who's got the bullpen advantage today? Should we get there early?
I don't know that I would call it. I think both these teams have very deep and talented bullpens, and everybody's rested. Tennessee's got all their bullets. Arvidsson only threw 12 pitches yesterday. Franklin just had a short relief, and of course, Arkansas's got as many weapons, both from a mix and match standpoint and a velocity standpoint, as anybody in the country.
Berkey, how about this infield right now? Marin's playing to pull, and they got everybody else straight up, like straight up the middle.
I would say the spray chart must be pretty clear with where Logan Maxwell hits his grounders. I think part of it, too, is being in a position to turn a double play if you get the opportunity.
Tennessee turned 2 yesterday. They were huge plays as Maxwell goes down swinging. Strikeout number 4 for Liam Doyle.
Maybe the best breaking ball of the day, KP.
Yeah, I think it probably was. I think it was. 2-2 count right there forces Maxwell to expand that zone. And if you're Doyle, I think for a few reasons, you kind of needed a strikeout right there.
Yes.
One, just to pump momentum back up internally. But 2, obviously, nobody out runner on first, already 2 in. It's a pretty good time to get one.
Here's Ryder Helfrich. He's from the East Bay in California. Grew up an Oakland A's fan. Would you believe that he's one of 3 kids from his senior class that came to the SEC? The other 2, his buddies Cody and Casey, go to Tennessee. They're not there to play sports. They just love the SEC. So he figured Cody and Casey would be watching.
I would believe that. It's been interesting to see how many people are coming from different parts of the country to SEC schools these days. But that's not a trip around the corner.
No. No. I mean, you get a lot of places out of McGee-Tyson, but I don't think they have a direct flight to Oakland. Oh, 2 to Helfrich.
Going back to that breaking ball consistently, we've seen that from Doyle. Helfrich been all over fastballs lately.
skies this one out of play. You know, I was asking Helfrich about facing the same team that you just faced 3 weeks ago. He calls all the pitches, generally speaking, for Arkansas when he's behind the plate. And asked who's got the advantage. He said, well, we kind of know what works and what didn't work from the last time we faced them, both at the plate and behind the plate. He goes, but it's a wash because they've got the same info on us. Arkansas won that series. Did not go. Appeal denied. Take Uhlenhop, down to first baseline.
Well, at the end of the day, baseball is an execution game. There's so much data on all these people, right? There really aren't many secrets. Pitchers have to make pitches. Hitters have to swing at strikes and take balls and then make their A-plus swing when they get opportunities to take advantage of mistakes. And I think sometimes the second time around we can make too much of the experience. Oh. But there is some familiarity. It's not nothing, but it is hard to handicap which side gets the advantage, the side that had more success or the other side of it.
Okay, so to that, as a hitter, whether it's from first at bat to third at bat when you face a guy in a game, or ultimately if it's somebody you faced multiple times, were you more comfortable the more that you saw somebody?
I definitely was. Yeah, I definitely was. I think because the scouting reports can only give you so much, you really need to see the ball come out of a guy's hand. You got to see how it reacts at home plate, shape of the breaking ball, and all those things. But the pitcher gets the same information too, right? So who it is an advantage for sometimes is hard to say.
Fastball was up in the zone. Liam Doyle got the call. And the count 0-1 to Aloy. Doyle has struck out the last two. Well, if he's getting the edges of the zone, that is advantage Liam Doyle.
Especially if he can land it, right? I mean, that's two pitches he's thrown to the edge of the zone, and if you're getting the benefit of the doubt, then it comes down to the ability to execute to the edges.
And a pickoff. The throw to second. They got him in a rundown. We'll chase him back towards Fisher. And
missed him.
And never got back in time. He missed him, and he had an opportunity to get him when he was off the bag.
Okay. They already lost a challenge, and it was in the first inning. I don't think you burn your other one right here.
No.
If you had them both, maybe you'd do it.
Yeah.
But I don't think you burn your last one right here.
Look, Fisher gets too close. Curley may be a little late, but what a slide.
Yep.
I mean, what a slide by Aloy. He's going head on with Fisher and then just totally dives to the outside, and Fisher whiffs on the tag. I don't think Fisher saw just how drastic Aloy was going to be able to move his body there that suddenly.
Big brother at first, little brother at the plate, and the at-bat continues. And it's lifted to center field. Ensley on a dead sprint, and he makes the catch coming in. Little flavor for Arkansas. Chuck D doing damage.
Go ahead and hunt a heater right here. 2-0 fastball, and Chuck Davlon's going window shopping out in right field. Off the window, 2-run shot. Arkansas strikes first with a 2-run home run. When we come back, we'll talk with Tennessee head coach Tony Vitello.
The NCAA, driving change to do more for today's student athletes. The NCAA programs deliver $4 billion in scholarships every year. Those D1 scholarships are now guaranteed. Health and well-being services are mandatory. Student athletes get tutoring as well as financial literacy coaching because almost everyone is going pro in something other than sports. The NCAA, driving change to do more for today's student athletes.
The new How to Train Your Dragon menu is now at BK. Get it before it disappears. Ooh, toothless. Bold, tasty, and dangerously delicious. How to Train Your Dragon. Coming to theaters June 13th.
Touches of black. They say a lot without having to say much. They stand for elegance, refinement, and prestige. Even a little can go a long way. And though they're darker than the darkest night, they make you see everything in a new light. The Kia X-Line Nightfall Collection.
Kia, movement that inspires.
Sunshine came.
From Fayetteville, Arkansas, welcome to the NCAA Baseball Super Regionals presented by Capital One. Tom Hart, Chris Burke, Kyle Peterson, joined by Tennessee head coach Tony Vitello. Tony, from our perspective, it looks like Liam is being very deliberate on the mound. Is that part of the game plan that you guys came up with as a whole, or do you see any different?
No, he's been doing that for 3 weeks, or 4 outings now, really since the post-Texas game, I guess. So that would be 2 appearances.
Okay.
Since Miami of Ohio.
Gotcha.
Sorry, that was pretty nasty.
That's all right. We all do it.
Allergies.
Yeah, I know. Offensively, the leadoff man on obviously didn't happen yesterday. Hasn't happened yet today.
There you go.
Oh,
I love you so much, KP.
Speak it right into existence. That's the way this world works. But approach against Gage, how do you go after that fastball that you know is going to be at the top of the zone?
Yeah, I mean, you better push it down, and I think our guys are communicating a bunch to each other. That was the game plan. We saw him last time. For how much of a bulldog he is and how good his stuff is, I thought our guys did well. We just didn't keep him off the scoreboard enough last time we faced him. This time it's different circumstances, new day, but still good stuff. So I think kind of like a lot of the fastballs in our league, you got to push it down, but you also probably got to work above it on a day like today. I know their guy hockeyed one into right field. He's strong enough to do it, but it's not a day where the ball's carrying like it was yesterday.
Tony, how does it change the way you manage your bullpen in an elimination game, maybe different than a game one of an SEC regular season series?
Yeah, well, I think even different from game one yesterday. Anytime it's a one-run game and you make some pitching changes, you'd always wish you could change it up a little bit. But I think this one is just go to who you think the next best guy is, maybe not as much matchup stuff.
First 2 hits of the game come when you're on headset. Do you want to peel off, or you want to stick with it?
No, because I'll say something stupid by the end of the thing, and I'll end up with no job hanging out with you guys.
Worst places to be.
But I do appreciate y'all. You guys are always a good time to have around.
You're the best. Thank you, man.
Okay, thank you guys.
You know, he could unplug the headset and keep it on. That would be one option.
We did get a loogie today.
We did get, we got a full hop Tua.
It happens. He doesn't have a cough button. We do.
First time runner in scoring position this series for Tennessee, and back to the top of the order, and Gavin Keelan. And Keelan serves one into left field. Aggressive approach, 3 straight hits. And the Volunteers have loaded the bases here in the third. And look who is coming to the plate. It's Andrew Fisher, who said, "I think I'm the most hated man in baseball. There hasn't been a single first base coach who has said hi to me any game this season," and he relishes being the villain.
Well, and I think he relishes batting with the bases loaded. Josh Elander, probably the easiest stop sign he's ever had to give a runner there, as he put the brakes on Cannon Peebles with one of the hottest, if not the hottest hitter in America coming up to bat. This is a perfect scenario for the Vols.
And it seems perfect for Fisher. You heard Tony talking about their approach against the fastball. How does that fit Andrew Fisher's profile?
Well, I think Andrew Fisher has such elite pitch recognition that I think he can trust himself to be ready for the fastball and then lay off pitches that don't suit his eye. That being said, he's also pretty capable of sitting on a fastball and reacting to a breaking ball, especially when he's in a swing count. So one of the reasons he's put together the season he's put together is because he doesn't have to sit on a pitch to have success.
So Aiden Jimenez getting loose in the Arkansas pen. Fisher third in the country in home runs. He's homered 3 times in his last 9 at-bats. And the breaking ball hit on the ground to the right side. Kojal goes to Aloy for 1. Back to first. And a 4-6-3. Tennessee scratches a run across, but one of the best defensive teams in the country shows why.
KP, you'll take that one every day, won't you, as a pitcher? Yeah. Bases loaded, nobody out against Fisher, and you trade 2 outs for a run any day of the week.
And a guy in Kojal, too. There was kind of a search to figure out where we're going to play him. This double play starts because of the feed and how quick it is. It's a perfect feed, allows Aloy just to stay in his momentum coming across second base and throwing absolute seed to finish off the double play.
So now Manny Marin at third for Hunter Ensley, the 3-hole hitter for Tennessee. And Ensley swings at the breaking ball into center for Justin Thomas Jr. Oh, nearly taken over by Davila. Twin killing, pitcher's best friend.
He doesn't get many ground balls off the heater, so go to the breaking ball, get a rollover, and as you said, KP, flip your hips, rip it to Aloy, who you know can finish it all. Big play for the Hawks.
Fire it up.
The all-new Dragon Flame Grilled Whopper is here at BK. Bold, juicy, flame grilled, and ready for adventure. Experience a new kind of flame at Burger King. How to Train Your Dragon, coming to theaters June 13th.
Look, Mom, I found one.
Oh, yeah, you did, but we need an ATM from our bank, unless you want to spend a small fortune in fees.
No, thank you. Banking with BMO means more fee-free ATMs than the 2 largest U.S. banks combined, including places like pharmacies and grocery stores.
Saving money and more convenient. Look at you being so helpful.
What'd you expect? You're studying at a help stop.
That's you.
That's me, at a desk.
BMO. Hello, hello, hello.
Get same-day delivery and text a personal shopper for last-minute additions. Just tap Target.
I feel that I have finally built something that I feel proud of. I feel that it was worth my money, and I know it's going to last for a long time.
Trex, America's most trusted outdoor decking.
Got this.
Well, it's one of the best ballparks in the country. Bob Walker has been bursting at the seams all weekend. Tennessee is trying to push us through the weekend, and a decisive Game 3 tomorrow. But Arkansas's got a 2-1 lead as we hit the top of the 4th inning. And Cam Kojal at the plate. Kojal went to high school at Millard South High School in Omaha before starting his college career playing for Tim Corbin at Vanderbilt. Primarily a second baseman at Vandy. He got here. They had a hole at first. He learned to play that position for the first time. And now back home at second after other injuries shuffled some stuff around about midway through the season for the Hogs.
Way to get Millard South in there, Tommy.
Yep.
Attaboy. Patriots.
They rough you up your senior year.
Sing-eye single for Kojal. Sounds like he's still not over.
No, I think we got him.
Did you carve him up?
I don't remember.
I'd say yes.
Something about this ballpark, huh?
It's starting to seem like it. I mean, once, maybe twice, I don't know, but it could also be something about this Arkansas offense.
I was about to say.
I mean, that they tend to do that to people.
Arkansas is 36-4 at home this season. They've set a new school record for home wins and winning percentage in this ballpark that opened in '96. That guy's got a lot to do with it, if not everything. Iredale struck out on a 97-mile-an-hour fastball his first time up. A.J. Russell's starting to get limber. Chris Burke was doing those same exercises at the hotel breakfast this morning.
Got to stay limber, Tommy.
Yeah, I've heard.
Never know when a pickup game might break out.
It almost broke out on Dixon Street last night.
Who knows?
You were trying.
I ran by there to see if there was any action this morning, but nobody was hooping.
2-0.
So this is the deal, right? Arkansas's been very successful against Doyle's heater, so he's going to start with a couple breaking balls, which is a great plan until you miss, right? Until you miss, which is exactly what happened against Davalon. He fell behind 2-0, and then you come to him with the heater, and things get
into right field. Chapman.
Things get a little predictable, right? And you get a miss right there because the fastball does have so much life. But, it only takes a couple big swings to put yourself in a hole that's tough to dig out of against this talented Arkansas pitching staff. We do see some action in the Tennessee bullpen for the first time in this ball game.
Left-on-left matchup with Robinette standing in.
Well, Doyle hasn't been able to have any innings that you can cruise through yet. I mean, he's pitched out of the stretch in every inning. Leadoff man has reached in 3 of the 4 innings. The other that it didn't, it was a one-out single by Kojal. So the vast majority of the pitches he's thrown today is with traffic and out of the stretch.
Well, this may feel like a breather for him here with Robinette, whose numbers against lefties aren't good. Robinette has faced Doyle 3 times this year and has struck out all 3 times. And there aren't very many breathers in the lineup. There's a lot of movement out there. A.J. Russell is on the mound, and Krenzel is in front of him. And another seeing eye single as Robinette picks up just his 3rd hit against the lefty this season by taking it through the right side.
And the key to this is watch the location. Can of people set up away this fastball down and in right into the bat path of Reese Robinette, who drops the barrel to that one, and whole right side of the infield open with the runner on first base. And a misfire on the heater allows Robinette to take advantage and roll one through the 4-hole. KP, just more high-stress pitches here from Liam Doyle.
This is an Arkansas team that's 5th in the country in home runs. They've set a program record for long balls this season. And I got to imagine this Tennessee coaching staff feels like they're walking a tightrope right now with Doyle, and that was not expected. Here's the 9-hole hitter, Justin Thomas Jr. Catches the edge, strike 1.
Well, I think, too, this is where it gets hard because you got to balance what your eyes are telling you with what he's done for the most part all year. And what he's done for the most part all year is he's been an absolute horse and one of the best in the country. Your eyes today are telling you it's not quite as good as we're used to seeing. So at what point do you decide kind of which one to go with?
Nothing in 2. You've got the metrics in front of you. What do they tell you about Doyle's fastball life?
I mean, it's good. It's very good. It has the type of carry that we're used to seeing. The problem is he hasn't been in too many of these counts.
0-2 to the 9-hole. And he blows it by him at 97. 6K for Doyle, 2 down. And Charles Davalon coming up. He did some damage last time.
Tony Vitello on the top step like he's thinking about making a move here.
Frank Anderson instead thinks about coming out.
Well, this is what they're thinking about because Chuck Davalon has been owning left-handers all year long, and this is the biggest swing of the ball game to this point. A bomb on a 2-0 count off the player development center in right field, and that's going to bring Frank Anderson out of the dugout to have a chat.
Well, he detoured to David Savage, home plate umpire, before heading out there. The home run for Davalon, first in a long while.
This looks like a conversation between Peebles and Doyle here, KP. This looked like Frank Anderson almost said kind of, what do you like?
What do you think here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sunday Night Baseball is in the Bronx tonight. Game 3 of the series between the Red Sox and the Yankees. Boston evened the series last night with a 10-7 win. Sunday Night Baseball, Red Sox-Yankees series finale tonight at 7 Eastern on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Radio. This is a good season. Aaron Judge hitting .390, 21 home runs, 51 driven in, OPS of 1234. You take it?
I would take it in travel ball.
Chuck Davalon is a self-proclaimed baseball nerd. He said all of my social feeds are just baseball after baseball after baseball. And he looks at 96 for a strike, hugging the top of the zone.
There are trips to the mound where not a lot is said, and you just want to give a guy a break, and that didn't seem like one of them. That seemed like one that it was very detailed. How are we going to go after him right now? In large part based on what Davalon's already done in this game.
2 aboard and 2 out. And that's one gets all the way to the backstop. It allows Kojal to move to third and Robinette to follow him to second on the wild pitch.
You cannot back in that ball. You can't. And from a catching standpoint, when you call a breaking ball, the expectation of the miss is going to be down. And I understand that he tugged it a little bit. This is where the one knee piece sometimes gets a little bit different going to that side, but that's just taking a big chance. You go backhanded. If you don't catch it cleanly, it goes off the side of the glove. Everybody advances 90 feet like they did right there.
And now an intentional walk to Davalon. Will load the bases for Gahiva Aloy, and that'll be the end of the line for Doyle, who is not happy.
No, he's not. Well, we just asked him about what the decision-making process is in an elimination game, and KP, I think you'd agree. This is probably not. You're probably not going to get Liam Doyle in a regular season game, but
no, you wouldn't.
In this situation, you don't have any room to wiggle. And Aloy's numbers are so good against left-handers. They're going to go get the right-hander here to try to get out of this jam.
And a jam it is, created by Liam Doyle and handed off to the freshman Braden Krenzel. Doyle lasts just 3 2/3. He leaves with the bases loaded and a huge opportunity for Arkansas.
NCAA athletes don't just compete, they make history. Representing our nation with pride and excellence, they bring home the hardware. Our college campuses serve as training grounds for the next generation of stars. Catch tomorrow's Olympians and Paralympians on the NCAA Championship stage today.
The all-new Dragon Flame Grilled Whopper is here at BK. Bold, juicy, flame grilled, and ready for adventure. Experience a new kind of flame at Burger King. How to Train Your Dragon, coming to theaters June 13th.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hello. Maybe it's you.
Drive up that's ready when you are. Just tap Target.
Bob Walker has turned into a house of horrors for Liam Doyle. Golden Spikes Award finalist won't get a chance to face another Golden Spikes finalist because Vahiva Aloy for Arkansas comes to the plate with the bases loaded against Braden Krenzel. Freshman out of Dublin, Ohio. His family has big game genes. His dad, Craig, won a national championship with Ohio State football, and this is a monster moment for Tennessee with the season on the line. And a swing and a miss for Aloy. What role do the splits play into this decision?
Well, I think the splits are clear. Aloy almost 300 points higher. And OPS versus left-handers, 130 points with the batting average.
Aloy is going to need to hit a slider because that may be all he sees.
That one missed low.
Yeah, I think as great as Liam Doyle has been this year, I think ultimately the numbers won out. The comfort level that Aloy's shown versus lefties throughout the course of the season, they had to go to the right-hander here.
1-2.
Tell you what a moment for this freshman. You come in here and season on the line versus the SEC Player of the Year and just rip 3 breaking balls.
And the third one gets away from Peebles and allows another run to score. Second wild pitch this inning, one from Doyle and now one from Krenzel. It's a 3-1 Arkansas lead.
Well, KP, you said it. I mean, you're in a situation where he's going to get breaking balls. You've got to be able to rip a breaking ball and trust your catcher to be able to keep it in front of you. And this is just twice where he just hasn't been able to quite get around it, KP.
And both have been to that side. Moving to his right side, just has not got his body on top of him.
And now the 2-2. And hit him. And now the advantage that Tennessee had goes out the window with the lefty Logan Maxwell coming up. All Doyle can do is watch. Arkansas fans and his coaching staff can feel the opportunity in front of them. Beer hats are back out. The bases remain loaded. And Tennessee will go back to the bullpen, hoping to keep this just a 2-run deficit.
There's losing, and then there's being the loser. Game time comes with enough pressure. Way too often, people are betting on sports, losing, and taking it out on the athletes. Only a loser would harass college athletes after losing a bet. But it happens almost every day. Root for your team. Get crazy when the buzzer sounds. But don't harass anyone because you lost a bet. It's time we draw the line and put an end to the abuse. Brought to you by the NCAA.
Fire it up.
The all-new Dragon Flame Grilled Whopper is here at BK. Bold, juicy, flame grilled, and ready for adventure. Experience a new kind of flame at Burger King. How to Train Your Dragon, coming to theaters June 13th.
Game 2 of the NBA Finals between the Pacers and Thunders tonight at 8 Eastern on ABC. The Pacers lead 1-0 after Tyrese Halliburton's game-winning shot to beat the Thunder 111-110. The NBA Finals Game 2 tonight at 8 Eastern on ABC, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Radio. Big right-hander A.J. Russell takes the mound for Tennessee, 6'6", 223 out of Middle Tennessee. He's 2-1 with a 3.52 ERA, 34 strikeouts in 23 innings as he replaces Krenzel.
Well, now you go to a guy in Russell that can give you length. I mean, first and foremost, if you're Tennessee, he's got to get you out of the inning. And Arkansas's got a chance to make this thing real interesting if they can put a ball in the gap right now. Russell's supreme stuff. I mean, it's mid-90s. It is a real swing and miss slider. The changeup is good against lefties, but he is built to start. And in this case, I think for Tennessee to really have a chance in this thing, he's probably got to give him 3 or 4 good ones here.
So the bases remain loaded. Reese Robinette's at third. He got a hit against Doyle. Davalon is at second. Intentionally walked, and Vahiva Aloy hit by a pitch by Krenzel to load him up for the second time this inning. Logan Maxwell at the plate for Arkansas. And late on 95. That surprised him.
Russell has some interesting traits with the fastball. Even as tall as he is, it's kind of a lower release height. And the ball tends to ride above the barrel of hitters when he gets his chase. You'll see a lot of swing and misses. He'll get a lot of fly balls.
He's got Maxwell in the hole, 0-2. Tennessee hung around yesterday in what turned out to be a 1-run loss by limiting Arkansas's damage when they had the bases loaded in big opportunities. Big part of that was paired double plays. Fly ball left field deep. Bargo back, track. Wall gone! Grand slam, Logan Maxwell! And the Hogs have busted this thing wide open in the fourth. And the inning continues with Ryder Helfrich at the plate. 7-1 Arkansas.
98 running away from him, top of the zone, and Maxwell just rode what wind there is to run it out of here.
They're calling the Hogs in rounds. To right. Chapman.
Well, that'll change things a little bit. We talked about his Hogs offense, how they can score them in bunches. This is not a terrible pitch. Elevated 98. It's just a really good swing. Logan Maxwell goes deep, his 13th of the year. Liam Doyle doesn't like what he sees, and neither do the Vols right now. Hog offense showing up. We'll talk to Dave Van Horn, the head hog. We'll come back.
Fire it up.
The all-new Dragon Flame Grilled Whopper is here at BK. Bold, juicy, flame grilled, and ready for adventure. Experience a new kind of flame at Burger King. How to Train Your Dragon, coming to theaters June 13th.
Look, Mom, I found one. Oh, yeah, you did, but we need an ATM from our bank, unless you want to spend a small fortune in fees.
No, thank you. Banking with BMO means more fee-free ATMs than the 2 largest U.S. banks combined, including places like pharmacies and grocery stores.
Saving money and more convenient. Look at you being so helpful.
What'd you expect? You're studying at a help stop.
That's you.
That's me, at a desk.
BMO.
A blind spot that's never out of sight. How it should be. The Hyundai Tucson.
Now for a limited time, get 2.99% APR on the Hyundai Tucson. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today.
At Planet Fitness, there's a number of ways to get strong, and they all add up to one membership, the Planet Fitness Black Card. Access any location, bring a friend anytime, and recover in the Black Card Spa.
One more, everybody.
We're all strong on this planet, Planet Fitness.
Yeah, Arkansas fans feeling it. Tom Hart, Chris Burke, Kyle Peterson happen to be joined by the head hog now, Dave Van Horn. This is, of course, an incredible home field advantage. How do you guys feed off of that?
Yeah, our fans have been amazing all year, and we played really well here. We played well everywhere, honestly, but at home it's been a little bit different.
Coach, you guys now 2 really productive times versus Liam Doyle. Like, what has been the plan that's allowed your offense to have so much success against one of the best pitchers in the country?
Well, obviously, I mean, it's easier said than done. We've tried to lay off the high fastball. Didn't do it a couple times early that maybe cost us a little bit. To try to foul pitches off, get his pitch count up, and especially today after the fact that he threw Friday and last Monday, we knew that, if we could get him out of the game, that would be a plus, and we did it.
Dave, thanks for the time. We appreciate it.
Okay, thanks, guys.
7-1 lead for Arkansas. He talked about the fact that they are so fundamentally sound, and especially here in the postseason, they haven't made mistakes. They haven't issued walks. And Berkey, recreate that last inning with Vahiva Aloy at the plate and the count 1-2. Nobody had scored yet. And then one wild pitch and the wheels come off.
Yeah, I mean, you make the decision to take out your superstar left-hander, which, again, the numbers would back that decision up. But there's obviously a lot of eyeball test and gut going into that decision. They decide to go with Krenzel. He comes in there and rips a couple breaking balls, and you're one pitch away from getting off the field. All of a sudden, the bounce breaking ball gets away from Peebles. A run scores. You throw a loose breaking ball that hits Aloy, and then a couple pitches later, which you got to give Maxwell credit, he laid off an 0-2 changeup that was just off the corner. And then, KP, you said it. He hit a fastball that was up and out of 98 degrees to the backside of the field. That's it. You got to tip your cap to Logan Maxwell.
At some point, they beat you. And that was not – you will take just the pitch itself in that situation and roll the dice. Maxwell just put a really good swing on it and hit it to the right part of the ballpark.
Well, we know Tennessee is a team that's got a lot of thunder in its bats, and they get a leadoff man on for the second consecutive inning with Dean Curley at the plate. And Gage Wood fits in a 95-mile-an-hour fastball for strike 1.
It feels like Tennessee's got to punch back and get something right now. Just spin the crowd a little bit, because if not, it's just going to get louder and louder. And then ultimately Arkansas can just fire bullpen bullet after bullpen bullet at you.
1 ball, 1 strike from Wood. In the air, shallow left. Charles Davalon on his horse. 1 down. Cole Gibbler getting loose in the Arkansas pen.
Yeah, now if you're Dave Van Horn, you're firing your best bullets and not giving Wood any opportunity. You're going right to him. No reason to let this thing at all get wobbly, especially as good as Cole Gibbler's been down the stretch.
Three in the third for Wood. And he'll hand it off to Gibbler. He leaves with a 6-1 Arkansas advantage.
There's losing, and then there's being the loser. Game time comes with enough pressure. Way too often, people are betting on sports, losing, and taking it out on the athletes. Only a loser would harass college athletes after losing a bet. But it happens almost every day. Root for your team. Get crazy when the buzzer sounds. But don't harass anyone because you lost a bet. It's time we draw the line and put an end to the abuse. Brought to you by the NCAA.
The new How to Train Your Dragon menu is now at BK. Get it before it disappears. Oh, toothless. Bold, tasty, and dangerously delicious. How to Train Your Dragon. Coming to theaters June 13th.
With USPS Ground Advantage, it's like you're with us every step of the way.
Right on time.
Stay in the know from your dock to their door.
It's taken back to the third inning. Bases loaded for Tennessee. Seems like a huge advantage with Andrew Fisher at the plate. They only get one run out of it on a 4-6-3 double play, and then Arkansas flipped the script in the fourth.
Yeah, a little different result here. You get one where you trade 2 outs for a run, and the other a backside big fly that busted this game wide open, and I just can't get over how impressive that swing was for Logan Maxwell on a pitch that really was not a good pitch to hit.
Here's Cole Gibler, freshman out of Blue Springs High School just outside of Kansas City. 2-1 with a 3.60 ERA. 49 Ks, only 9 walks.
This is another one where you look at the strikeouts in the innings, and it's about 2 per inning for the left-hander. A freshman who's had a big-time year and has been really tough on lefties.
This is Reese Chapman. Chapman 0 for 1 with a fly out to left field. And that one gets right through the wickets on Ryder Helfrich and allows Bargo to advance to second.
You don't see that very often with Ryder Helfrich. But how about that, KP? You talked about being tough on left-handers, and it's been kind of equally nasty against righties, to be honest. But 35 ABs, 18 strikeouts.
Yeah, the swing and miss percentage on the slider against lefties this year is just shy of 70%. They don't hit it when they swing at it.
Two and one. Gibler's faced Chapman twice this season. He struck him out the first time and allowed a single to him. Right back up the middle his next time up. That was back 3 weeks ago. And for a strike, 2-2.
Chapman back-to-back takes on fastballs, and the book on Gibler is breaking ball, so you know that's in the back of his mind. And a couple strikes there that he couldn't pull the trigger on because I am certain he is thinking breaking ball. That was a pretty healthy hack, right, KP? That was the swing of somebody that looked like they were hunting a breaking ball.
Bargo's the runner at second. Here's the 2-2 to Chapman. Blocked by Helfrich. Had a great conversation with Arkansas pitching coach Matt Hobbs yesterday about how they teach their catchers to call the game. It's really something they call pitch calling you. Like, you have to learn so many different steps before you get it into the game and into the spring, but it's something that takes the entire first fall that you're in the program. And he said the very first thing we do, and Helfrich is great at it, is we have to teach them what the pitches are and what the pitch shapes are. And like, hey, here's a cutter, here's how it's going to act. Here's a slider from a lefty, here's where it's supposed to go. And you build up that knowledge basically starting at the very bottom. Then it's learning the staff. Then eventually, once you get into the season, it's the scouting report. I would think, as this ball forward, that is a huge advantage for Arkansas catchers once they get into pro ball.
I would completely agree with that. And it's also impressive that Matt Hobbs, one of the most accomplished pitching coaches in the country, allows his catchers that kind of freedom.
And then, I mean, there's plenty of discussion, obviously, about here's where I think we should go with this guy. The other thing is note from a pitch calling standpoint, no one has a better vantage point than the catcher.
Mm-hmm.
You see things, you hear things that ultimately can lead you to wherever you're going to go next, and it can be the smallest movement. Just hands move a little bit, front sides open it up a little bit, whatever it is that no one else can see on the field except the guy right behind home plate.
A big opportunity for Levi Clark with 2 on and 1 out. Helfrich said in these moments, a big opportunity for Clark here. There's 2 on in front of him. He said, what I learned early on is that you want to go out using their best stuff. You don't want to make a mistake in a high leverage moment on the 3rd or 4th best pitch.
Well, and he's learning early on what every pitch caller's dilemma is, which is, do I go with my guy's strength or do I try to exploit the hitter's weakness? And some guys, maybe like a Zach Root yesterday, when you got 4 pitches working, can do both. But ultimately, push comes to shove in college baseball. I think he's right on target with use your guy's best pitch in big moments.
Clark, the DH, chips 1 foul, 1 and 2 now. Tennessee trailing by 6. Runners on the moves. Oh, they started, and it was a swing and a miss. And that'll do it for Clark.
So to that point, Gibbler's best pitch is his slider.
Mm-hmm.
It is against righties or lefties, and that time they just stayed with it. Like one after another, stay with it. Force Clark in this situation to make an adjustment. He didn't. All of the strikes in that at-bat were on that pitch.
Tennessee has 46 of its 130 home runs coming with 2 down. Peebles has had some success against Gibbler this season. Had a 2-run single when they first met, and that pitch just missed. Nothing in, probably 1-0. I think you can come to an Arkansas game and see every type of hat you've ever imagined in your life. You've seen the plastic batting practice helmets, the cowboy hats, ball caps, the beer hats. Some guys is sometimes holding beer on top of their head as a hat.
Have we seen both? We've seen the beer hat with the beer on top of the beer hat yet.
I haven't seen that one yet.
It won't be long.
Probably out there.
Two and 1. Peebles hitting almost 100 points better against lefties than he is righties. He's a switch hitter.
Yeah, the OPS 300 points higher, Tommy. Has 1 more homer versus left-handers and way fewer at bats. So this is the side he is most dangerous for sure. And here in a hitter's count, boy, this would be a big swing if he could at least get him something back after a 5-run fourth for the Hogs.
And a tapper to Kojal. He'll take it himself, and he wins that race. No runs, no hits, a couple of walks, and all they did was get stranded. 7-1 Arkansas.
Fire it up.
The all-new Dragon Flame Grilled Whopper is here at BK. Bold, juicy, flame grilled, and ready for adventure. Experience a new kind of flame at Burger King. How to Train Your Dragon, coming to theaters June 13th.
Look, Mom, I found one. Oh, yeah, you did, but we need an ATM from our bank, unless you want to spend a small fortune in fees.
No, thank you. Banking with BMO means more fee-free ATMs than the 2 largest U.S. banks combined, including places like pharmacies and grocery stores.
Saving money and more convenient. Look at you being so helpful.
What'd you expect? You're studying at a help stop.
That's you.
That's me, at a desk.
BMO.
Touches of black. They say a lot without having to say much. They stand for elegance, refinement, and prestige. Even a little can go a long way. And though they're darker than the darkest night, they make you see everything in a new light. The Kia X-Line Nightfall Collection.
Kia, movement that inspires.
Top of the fifth inning from Fayetteville, Arkansas with a 7-1 lead. Should the Hogs hold on, they'll be headed back to Omaha for the 12th time. Razorbacks have been close. They've never won a national championship in baseball. How about that head covering? What do you got?
Sorry, I was looking to throw down to second base in between innings. It went about 40 feet over second base.
What'd we miss?
Just a guy wearing a towel on his head.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like KP.
Yeah. I know that speed.
There we go.
I know. I've
there
got
we
you.
Go. There we go.
Guys like us got to wear hats, dude. I'm telling you.
Kuhio Aloy at the plate. He was the only Razorback that didn't come to the dish as part of that big fourth inning, a 5-run frame. He was on the Hog Pod with Bo Mattingly earlier this season. Great podcast about Arkansas baseball and other sports, and he was talking about his golfing prowess. Flies out to center. Actually, his older brother was bragging on him. He drives a golf ball 400 yards.
He's not a small human.
No, and with his club head speed, I don't doubt that in the least.
Here's Cam Koziel. Omaha native, was a Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of Nebraska in 2023. Also lettered 4 times in football. Was a captain his senior year. Koziel spells his last name Kozeal, and that's different from what it was just a couple of generations ago. He told the story that his grandpa had the name changed. It was Koziol, and he changed it because they weren't receiving their mail. I don't know why changing the name suddenly allowed them to then receive the mail.
But it worked?
Apparently it worked. You can't change it back, can you, at that point? Going right through the wickets on Peebles, and they count 2-2. 2 hits today for Koziel. He's 3 for 6 in the series. One of the things I think is great about this Arkansas team, you talk about the strength of the squad as a whole, is a lot of teams have 1 or 2 key pieces where if you removed them, they'd fall apart. Cam Koziel's a key part of this Arkansas team. And you could say that about like 8 other guys in this lineup.
And they've moved him all over the lineup this year, too. It's happened for a lot of these guys. We always talk about Arkansas's pitching. What we haven't talked about as much the last couple of years is their offense. Because it was kind of what was keeping them from taking the next step. This year it's totally different. And it's lengthened this offense. The only team in the top 20 in runs and ERA. That generally allows you to win a lot of games, and they've done a lot of it this year.
Here's Brent Iredale. He has started all but 1 game at third base this season for Arkansas.
Well, Tommy, we talked about it yesterday, the boxes this team checks, and one of them is exactly what you just said. Offensively, you're not dependent on a certain part of the batting order to generate opportunities. They also have a number of different guys from a power standpoint that could be the guy that hits the 3-run homer or maybe has a multi-home run game. You're talking about, they got 7 of their 9 hitters double-digit home runs, and Justin Thomas Jr. has 9. So it's the type of offense that really makes you work 1 through 9, and because of that, they've been very consistent. There have just not been many lulls at all in their run production.
And I would bet if you did a deep dive on the bottom third of the order, starting here with Iredale in the 7-hole, it's one of, if not the most productive bottom 3 hitters in any lineup in the country.
Yeah, and Robinette has not been spectacular, but if you look at the walks to strikeout and the quality of at bats, he has given them length. He has certainly not been a huge power source, but he's definitely given them quality ABs. And the other thing about Arkansas that they do is the right, left, all the way down. I guess it starts lefty, left, right, all the way down, and that makes it really hard to match up against.
For that throw over, Russell was warned by home plate umpire David Savage to engage the hitter, part of the pitch clock in college baseball. Simple as making eye contact. And upstairs, 3-1. Iredale from Sydney, New South Wales, Australia. Hit him. The mistakes just piling up for Tennessee today.
And that's a tough one if you're Brent Iredale, because that ball clearly hit him, but they're saying that was a swing.
Got him in the forearm. Did he commit to it?
Let's see the barrel here. Well, it does look like that barrel went past KP. You'll get a better look here. I don't know. That's a tough one for a ball to hit you in the forearm, but first base umpire Jake Uhlenhop says the bat went past the point of no return. Iredale handling it like a champ. It's a double whammy, KP. 95 off your forearm,
wear it,
and
then
it's a strike.
Ring you up. You got to go back in and hit again.
There goes the runner. And a punch out. And a throw down to second was late. They say an interference on Iredale, and the base runner will be out as well, and that'll bring Dave Van Horn out for an explanation. And that will end the inning. Kojal was running, looked like he would have been safe with ease. Berkey, what did you see from Iredale?
Well, he doesn't have to intentionally interfere with the catcher. If the catcher runs in, you see he's stepping across home plate too, and
that's the right call.
Yeah, and at that point, that's a pretty easy call for home plate.
He might have made
David
contact
Savage
with his helmet too.
But he clearly walks right in front of home plate as Cannon Peoples is making that throw. That's a tough sequence there for Iredale.
Yeah.
Go from walking to wearing a ball off the forearm, and then next thing you know, you're off the field.
We move to Tennessee's half of the fifth inning with the Volunteers trailing by 6.
All new Dragon Flame Grilled Whopper is here at BK. Bold, juicy, flame grilled, and ready for adventure. Experience a new kind of flame at Burger King. How to Train Your Dragon, coming to theaters June 13th.
Well, Arkansas is just one win and 423 miles away from the promised land, Omaha, Nebraska, and what would be the Razorbacks' 12th trip to the College World Series, their first game in 1979. They are better than halfway home here. Freshman Manny Marin leads off the 5th inning for Tennessee. And Gibbler misses up in the zone, 1-0. Marin had a base hit his first time up, and he drives this one foul down the left field line. Home run distance for sure. Marin got a chest bump from Andrew Fisher before his big home run in Game 7 against Wake Forest. It is the largest comeback this year for Tennessee.
Yeah, that one changed the game, too. And Marin hit it out the other way. Fisher hit one out just a few hitters later, and then Tennessee was off and running.
Arkansas does have a blown 5-run lead this year. They're 30-1 when leading by 5 or more. They blew it in a midweek against Missouri State back in late March. Here's the 2-2 to Marin now. He's staying alive.
Well, the difference between that midweek blown 5-run lead and what Tennessee's up against today is they've got every best bullet in their bullpen ready to go besides Gackle.
Marin pulls another one foul. Heads up.
And so if they're going to pull this off, it's going to be against a bevy of very talented Arkansas relievers.
And it's going to be a short leash, too. I mean, you get any traffic, there'll be action right away in that Arkansas bullpen.
Strike 3 looking.
I kind of lulled him to sleep with the breaking balls that Marin was out in front of, hooking him down the left field line, then just sticks a glove side fastball that stays right there that locks Marin up for the first out of the inning.
That is such a tough pitch on a right-handed hitter when a lefty can just bury that glove side heater right under the hands. That one locked Marin up.
Here's Gavin Keelan. He is 1 for 2. Tennessee's athletic trainer is Jeff Wood. He's been there for 25 seasons now. He's had a bunch of different jobs as a trainer. He was a rodeo trainer at one point. There he is. And when you have a sage like that in the dugout, he offers more than just medical treatment. He offers other advice. I was told that Gavin Keelan had an appointment to get cornrows this week. He was going with Jay Abernathy. And Woody heard about it, and he said, hold on, Gavin. It's probably going to give you a headache, and you'll be very uncomfortable, and the helmet will likely be uncomfortable. I'd advise you to call it off. Now, is that not an all-encompassing trainer?
Wisdom. That sounds like wisdom to me.
That's 25 years.
You think Woody's ever had cornrows?
It was a while ago.
Not recently.
I know the feeling.
Oh, he's the best. Keelan goes down swinging back-to-back Ks for Gibbler. And that'll bring Andrew Fisher to the plate. Berkey, Andrew Fisher is a guy who has an approach seemingly for every different pitcher and gives plenty of thought to his approach against guys. What could be different against Gibbler?
Well, I would assume he knows the breaking ball is the #1 weapon for Cole Gibbler. So the question will be, what's the adjustment that he makes to try to combat that breaking ball? And you see first pitch breaking ball right in there. And this at bat, it looks like one of the adjustments he's making is maybe creeping up in the batter's box a little bit.
Yeah, there he is. Now he just spreads wide.
Maybe try to take the last bit of break out of that slider from Gibbler by creeping up in the box a little bit.
That's not a little bit. That's a lot. Especially for guys usually in the back of the batter's box, but he hasn't been able to do anything with it.
Yeah, and if Helfrich is noticing, he's not concerned because that's a few breakers here to start this at bat.
So you get another one?
You might climb the ladder with one heater just to get him off of it.
Pulled to the right side, right to the leather of Robinette. Gibbler a perfect fifth. And it's all Arkansas this afternoon in Fayetteville.
Well, it wasn't the swing and miss they were looking for, but it all looks good in the scorebook. A rocket at Robinette, and the Hogs post another 0.
The new How to Train Your Dragon menu is now at BK. Get it before it disappears. Oh, toothless. Bold, tasty, and dangerously delicious. How to Train Your Dragon. Coming to theaters June 13th.
Look, Mom, I found one. Oh, yeah, you did, but we need an ATM from our bank, unless you want to spend a small fortune in fees.
No, thank you. Banking with BMO means more fee-free ATMs than the 2 largest U.S. banks combined, including places like pharmacies and grocery stores.
Saving money and more convenient. Look at you being so helpful.
What'd you expect? You're studying at a help stop.
That's you.
That's me, at a desk.
BMO.
The Kia K4 and K5 represent what comes next. The next movement for innovation. And the next movement for acceleration. The Kia K4 and K5.
Kia, movement that inspires.
Well, 3 teams have already reserved their spots in Omaha, Coastal Carolina, Arizona, and Louisville. Cardinals had to go on the road to start their tournament. Won the Nashville Regional, got ACC foe Miami at home, and won it in Game 3.
3 teams from 3 different conferences. I think this year feels like it's shaping up to be maybe the most diverse Omaha field that we've had in a while after a year last year where it was only 2 conferences represented.
In Westwood right now, UCLA leads UTSA 2-0 in the 7th. The Bruins close to securing a return to Omaha.
So if that holds, Tommy, that would be 4 different conferences, which I can't hardly remember the last time that was the case.
Robinette pops it out of play. How about Murray State 19-9 over Duke today to even that series at 1?
You got a good look at that offense last week, sitting in the studio, and it is not quiet.
No, they ran double digits up there against Ole Miss and Georgia Tech like they were playing in the Missouri Valley. It was a impressive offensive display from a team that can really run hitters at you 1 through 9.
Another K for A.J. Russell, his second. Well, Arkansas trying to get back to Omaha for the 12th time. They've been so close. Twice runner-up, 1979 and again 2018. They haven't been to Omaha since the 22 season. And it's pretty good history. Chopper to short. Gavin Keelan, 2 down. Super Regional coverage continues tonight and tomorrow across ESPN, ESPN2, ESPNU, and ESPN Plus. Visit NCAA.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships. Back at the top of the order, and Charles Davalon.
Well, this is when the game changed last time around. Davalon's up, and the ball goes in the dirt, which opens up first base. They go intentional walk, change pitchers, and from that point forward, this game has had a brand new feel to it.
Davalon is a draft-eligible sophomore, spent last year at Florida Gulf Coast. Made 56 starts there. And After last season ended in its own regional, Arkansas decided they needed to get more athletic. Dave Van Horn in early June said, we got to get a better athlete. We can't just have 8 guys that hit homers. I like guys that hit doubles. I like guys that hit homers, but you got to have some dudes that can run too. And Davalon was a big piece of that. And, man, does he make a difference in the top spot in the order.
What's interesting about that is it didn't end up changing necessarily the approach from offense, just the athlete that they're featuring. And even though that was the quote, they've set the program record for homers.
Yeah.
Athletes with power plays too.
Yeah, that works.
That's a good combination.
Davalon's just put together an incredible year. We were talking about just how successful he's been off left-handers, but how about 32 walks versus 24 Ks? And with damage.
Mm-hmm.
So the ability to rarely swing and miss, but then also do damage is why he's probably going to hear his name called pretty early in the draft.
Tosses the bat aside after a 2-out walk. You talked to him about comps of guys that played in your generation. Does he have one for himself, a player?
No, he didn't give me that. It's funny how many people watch him and say Lenny Dykstra. I see
just for the look.
The look. I see Brian Giles for the ability to discern balls and strikes and do damage. But yeah, he's got that kind of spark plug leadoff guy, Dykstra vibe to him too.
Well, yesterday, not so much today, but yesterday the uniform was dirty from shoulders to toes, so that fit too.
That fits. That's right. And I like how he's gone back to the Chipper Jones mock tee. That's a throwback. We don't see too many of those in today's era.
No, and the temperature doesn't matter. We're going to mock it up every time. What I see, and he just looks there. You see a guy that's going to play in the big leagues if he stays healthy, and somebody that you want on your club. And sometimes the more you watch somebody, just the he's a baseball player component comes in. He's definitely that. I mean, he plays the game at a really high level, but the talent goes right with it.
We get to hear the entirety of Vahiva Aloy's walk-up song thanks to the mound visit, and now Frank Anderson wants to take Jeff Wood, the trainer, out to the mound to visit with A.J. Russell.
A.J. Russell's trying to wave him off.
Blister?
I don't know if it's a blister or fingernail, but he's looking at that right hand.
Well, Woody's already made it all the way out there. He might as well get a peek. Well, Vahiva Aloy, the SEC Player of the Year, here's how he found out.
SEC Player of the Year!
Vahiva, what's going on, man? It's Andrew Benintendi. I just wanted to give you a quick shout and say congratulations on winning the SEC Player of the Year. What a tremendous honor it is, and to be the best player in the best conference, it says a lot.
Pretty good from a pretty good player himself. Only 2 in Arkansas history.
Now, that's hard to believe. As good as this
There's
program.
only been 2.
Yeah. But that sure is good company.
Peebles snap throw back. You know, Benintendi really blew up his second season here and had what we call draft helium. Aloy has also made a jump, but we kind of knew what he was last year, and he just more disciplined plate approach, a little bit more, probably a little bit better in the field than he was originally.
And I think played the game this season with less pressure. Last year's offense was not nearly as dynamic or deep as this year's offense. And so I think first-year player, big portal guy, NIL, the whole deal, I think he put a lot of pressure on himself to come over here and carry an offense that really needed his juice. And this year, I think early you could tell he was playing the game with an approach that he didn't feel like he had to do all the heavy lifting, and capitalized with a SEC Player of the Year campaign. He has been fantastic offensively and defensively.
And he sends it to right field. Chapman has space. Only 2 SEC Players of the Year, but Golden Spikes Award winner just a couple of years ago, Kevin Kopps. Tanner Allen got the Conference Player of the Year. He got the National Player of the Year.
The new How to Train Your Dragon menu is now at BK. Get it before it disappears. Ooh, toothless. Bold, tasty, and dangerously delicious. How to Train Your Dragon. Coming to theaters June 13th.
Touches of black. They say a lot without having to say much. They stand for elegance, refinement, and prestige. Even a little can go a long way. And though they're darker than the darkest night, they make you see everything in a new light. The Kia X-Line Nightfall Collection.
Kia, movement that inspires.
This is not just a pharmacist.
You could try this. Yeah.
This is another woman who gets it.
Men's College World Series begins Friday in Omaha, Nebraska. Arkansas can almost taste it. 7-1 lead as we move to the bottom of the 6th. 30-1 this season when leading by 5 or more runs. The 5-run fourth is the difference in this game as Hunter Ensley leads off the 6th. Well, and from a Tennessee perspective, Berkey, this is a team that won it all last year. Hunter Ensley was a key part of that team, and this could very well be one of the last trips to the plate for Ensley in a Tennessee uniform.
Well, we talked about from the jump that Ensley and Bargo need to get it going if this team was going to be able to force a game 3, and it's getting late early, and so I think Hunter Ensley would like to extend that time on campus a little bit longer, but it's going to have to start with getting on base and start chipping away at this sizable 6-run lead.
Pops it up to right field. Maxwell coming in. Robinette back there, and that one hits the turf. Just put it into no man's land. Couldn't have placed it better.
That would stay in the air for a while too, but it just put it in a spot to where it's too far to go for Maxwell. There's no chance that Robinette's going to get to them and he gets spun around. We'll see if that can get this Vol offense going because, I mean, you said it, it's getting late early right now, but it's also an offense that can score them in bunches.
Here's Dalton Bargo. He is just 1 for 21 in this NCAA postseason. .14 home runs. He's driven in 40. Junior out of Omaha by way of Westside High School and then University of Missouri. And he drives it to center. Justin Thomas Jr. back. And a jump at the wall to haul it in. We had Tony Vitello on earlier, and he mentioned the ball just wasn't really carrying today like it was yesterday. And there's a good example.
Well, again, you got to get it to the left side of the field. It's more of a crosswind, not quite as much straight out. That ball went 397 feet. Justin Thomas Jr. got back there and made it look pretty easy. Ball that really jumped off the bat from Dalton Bargo. That at least has to give him some
swing.
Some confidence there. New bat after breaking his bat his last time up.
Here's Dean Curley, 0 for 2 today. He had a great series against Arkansas a few weeks ago. He went 6 for 12 against the Hogs with a home run. Also picked up a stolen base. Curley's got a big league look.
Yeah, I would put Dean Curley on my all-uniform team. I mean, that dude fills out a uni about as well as you could possibly do it, and the sunglasses are a nice touch.
6'3", 218. Berkey, do you look that cool in sunglasses?
No, I never looked that good in a uniform. I promise you that.
Did you hit in sunglasses ever?
I didn't. Nope.
Popped it up. Thomas went back a moment ago. Now he's charging in.
Uh-oh.
And a beautiful over-the-shoulder catch by Aloy. Tip of the cap to a Fayetteville Aloy with that play.
That's pretty athletic right there. I mean, another one that stays in the air for a long time, but ultimately he's the only one. Generally not a comfortable feeling on the mound when you can see somebody's number in the outfield, but right there for Aloy, just flips the glove out at the last minute and takes one away.
It looked like Justin Thomas Jr. had a play on that ball, and then when he gave way, I thought, oh, this thing's falling, and then Fayetteville goes Ozzie Smith on us out there in shallow left center field.
Here's Reese Chapman.
That is not an easy play that Fayetteville Aloy just made right there. That ball starts moving on you when you get your back to the infield. But in typical Aloy fashion, he kind of made it look cool.
Made it look easy and cool. Like hitting bottle caps. Ball and a strike to Chapman. What a sight here at Baum-Walker Stadium.
What a venue. 39 luxury boxes in this place.
They sold, the original allotment was sold out before they were built, and so they added them all the way down to the foul poles. They're supposed to just go to the bases. Think the A's would like playing here?
Yeah.
Two and two.
Yeah, something tells me if they wanted to wrap them all the way around to left center field, they could probably sell them out. Yeah.
One on and two out. The 2-2 to Chapman. Check swing. He went. And that ends any Tennessee threat in the sixth. Fayetteville Aloy Golden Spikes Award finalist, playing like the College Player of the Year on the field.
Yeah, he swings the bat and he can flash the leather. Look at him peek at the center fielder. He's like, nah, man, I got you. Say, hey, Willie Mays catch over the shoulder there.
The new How to Train Your Dragon menu is now at BK. Get it before it disappears. Ooh, toothless. Bold, tasty, and dangerously delicious. How to Train Your Dragon. Coming to theaters June 13th.
Look, Mom, I found one. Oh, yeah, you did, but we need an ATM from our bank, unless you want to spend a small fortune in fees.
No, thank you. Banking with BMO means more fee-free ATMs than the two largest U.S. banks combined, including places like pharmacies and grocery stores.
Saving money and more convenient. Look at you being so helpful.
What'd you expect? You're studying at a help stop.
That's you.
That's me, at a desk.
BMO.
We're from Maui, Hawaii, and I'm born and raised.
Fayetteville, Aloy, light tower power.
He's as good a shortstop as there is in the country.
Jump throw, Jeter-esque. Got him!
The Bash Bradas, BRADDAHS.
Kuhio Aloy.
He's the younger brother, he ain't smaller.
The Hawaiians continue to terrorize opponents' pitchers. Yeah, the Bash Bradas seem to work. Look at the numbers. They've combined for 33 home runs, to the top run producers in the SEC. Big brother Conference Player of the Year. Little brother first team All-SEC DH. Did you hear Tony Vitello talking about the Aloys before this series started? And he said, you know, you can blame me because when he was on Dave Van Horn's staff, he had a role in recruiting the first Hawaiian player they had, Rick Nomura. And then that beget Nolan Souza, who's injured right now but on the roster. And then that led the pipeline, at least, to the Aloys.
Yeah, and how about brothers leading the regular season? Fayetteville led the league in runs, Kuhio in RBIs. Now it's a pretty good combo.
I'd say they're going to keep recruiting the islands here. It's worked out pretty well.
Hard throwing Nate Snead takes over to the Tennessee bullpen. He's the third reliever of the game for the Volunteers. If you joined us late, Liam Doyle did not fare well in another trip to Baum Walker. He lasted just 3 2/3. Logan Maxwell fouls off the first. And he ropes this one into right field. Maxwell's got a grand slam. Now he's got a double. Pretty good day at the plate. Dude's good to the last drop.
Stay hot, Logan Maxwell. Hitting 400 for the NCAA tournament coming in today. Sits back on a breaking ball. A grand slam, a double. And he is carried this Razorback offense here now last couple weekends. Consistent production really all season, but especially saving his best here for the tournament.
Fourth straight 2-hit game. Helfrich trying to put a bunt down, nothing in one. Ryder Helfrich is from Discovery Bay, California. He came down to the Atlanta area to play in a tournament, and this was his high school team. The Ugly Eagles, Clayton Valley Charter High School.
You go all in on that when you go jersey with ugly on the front. Like that's when you're. It's not just kind of part of your mascot. It's part of your identity at that point. That's bold. Might get you one of their hats, KP.
I'll wear it.
It just says ugly.
Yeah, just walk around.
Hey, ugly.
Like your hat. Thank you. Thank you. Seen a few of these today that have had a big impact ultimately, and I understand what the score is, but when the balls have gotten to the backstop before this point in the game, it is extended innings for Arkansas.
One and two to Helfrich. The infield is in for Tennessee, trailing by 6. And a chopper will hold the runner at third. Marin takes his time. One down. You ever try hitting bottle caps?
No. I would imagine it'd be challenging though. Wiffle ball bat and a bottle cap. This will train your hand-eye.
These are the firecrackers, and here's the bottle caps. They move a little bit.
Wow, that's awesome.
I just know we've run that video a few times. Was he throwing with goggles on his head?
The first time, yeah. And then one of them was hitting left-handed in the last one. I wouldn't mind seeing that either.
Smoked up the box. First hit of the game for little brother, and he extends the Arkansas lead.
Well, the flags are out. They've been flying a whole lot these last 2 days. Kehioloi gives them something to stand up and get them waving for again.
If you can hit a firecracker, you can hit a baseball.
Poppers. That's a good BP right there.
Just like he practiced.
Yeah.
By the way, as Kojal stands back in, did you see the fan in the hog pen that was holding a fan? Not another person, but like
an actual
it's
fan?
90-something degrees, yet holding his own fan.
Coming prepared.
Here's one of them.
You got two of them.
They kind of like running the air conditioner with the windows down.
It's a little steamy out there.
2-0 to Kojal. He's got big plans with Chris Burke. He wants to play in the big leagues for 10 years. Wants to get back to Nebraska, live on a farm, and raise 20 children.
Those are big plans, I would agree. I wish him well in those pursuits.
If this holds, he's going to be looking for a farm pond here in a couple days to go catch some bass because he's been all over the place around here fishing.
He's been fishing with just about everybody, including the bat boy. Gage Goodwin is one of the best bat boys in college baseball. He told me today he confirmed he's probably the best one in the SEC at least. He's the son of Director of Operations Clay Goodwin. And Gage was teaching Cam how to play first base. They put Cam over at first base, and Gage said, you need some help holding runners on. Here's where your feet belong. Here's where you should be standing. Here's my man.
He's high on the bat boy rankings?
Yeah, he's very high.
Is he?
Yeah. In fact, nobody in front.
Yes.
They hype each other up when Cam comes to the plate. One says to the other, you hit lasers. No, you hit lasers. No, you hit lasers. And I was talking to Gage's dad, Clay, about it, and he said, you know, Cam's got like 6 brothers and sisters that have a long age range there. He's like, he's really comfortable hanging out with Gage. That's his speed. They went fishing just a couple days ago. Family lives in Omaha now. They moved to Sargent, Nebraska when Cam was in grade school. His uncle Mike, the head football coach there, his aunt, the English teacher. His grandpa Mick was the mayor for 40 years. His dad wanted to try farming, and he realized he wasn't a fan of farming. They moved right back to Omaha. He was talking about running around the Storm Chasers clubhouse when Eric Hosmer was playing AAA ball for a minute. And Hosmer saw Cam and said, Cam, we're playing my music today in the clubhouse. You should probably put your headphones on.
Good day to go out and play catch.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he obviously has been a huge part of the story this year for Arkansas, as many other of their portal additions have just made huge impacts. We talked about Cuyo coming over from BYU. You think about Logan Maxwell coming from TCU. You think about Charles Davalon coming from Florida Gulf Coast. Zach Root coming from ECU. And, you know, you think about last year them losing in a home regional. And then you dedicate your time and energy to evaluating the portal and trying to make wise decisions on what pieces you want to add. And you talk about a team that absolutely hit a home run acquiring the right pieces that have all gelled together. This Arkansas team has really transformed its roster in 1 year, and now just 9 outs away from headed back to Omaha because of the impact those guys have made.
Single season program record, 122 home runs. Brent Iredale's got 13 of them. They found Iredale at New Mexico Junior College. Nate Thompson was there for his very first JUCO game. You can't be a good recruiter if you're not on the road nonstop. So Nate saw him there. He became the first Aussie to wear the Arkansas uniform. By the way, Nate's opportunity with this Arkansas program came just about 8 years ago when Tony Vitello took the Tennessee job. Nate was the hitting coach at Missouri State just up the road. That wild pitch, I think did he get lodged? Is that what they call it?
I think it got stuck.
Yeah, it got stuck underneath the padding back there. Oh, you don't usually see Nate Snead have those kind of misfires.
Fourth wild pitch of the game for Tennessee. They bring the infield in again. Berkey, ever been to Australia?
I have not.
Why not?
I don't know that. What is it, like 14-hour flight or something?
Maybe
like that?
more.
Yeah, I'm just not quite there yet.
96 in on the thighs, and Arkansas has loaded the bases again. And they've loaded them for Reese Robinette. Here come the Beer Hats. Bases loaded. Maybe some of the fans too. KP, why didn't we get into beer hat business a few years ago? We could have retired by now.
Yeah, we may not be talking right now, would we? We'd be watching this on a beach somewhere.
Here's Tony Vitello. And I'll just give the home fans a chance to call the Hogs again. Tennessee's hope to return to Omaha dissipated when they allowed a 5-run fourth inning. And now Arkansas in danger of putting another crooked number up before they are done here.
Fire it up.
The all-new Dragon Flame Grilled Whopper is here at BK. Bold, juicy, flame grilled, and ready for adventure. Experience a new kind of flame at Burger King. How to Train Your Dragon, coming to theaters June 13th.
They say a lot without having to say much. They stand for elegance, refinement, and prestige. Even a little can go a long way. And though they're darker than the darkest night, they make you see everything in a new light. The Kia X-Line Nightfall Collection.
Kia, movement that inspires.
Where are all the animals, Dad?
Don't know, kiddo. Just not our day.
It's a rare thing when someone you've been with for so long finds a way to surprise you. It's like discovering E-Trade's easy-to-use platform now comes with expert insights from Morgan Stanley to help you navigate the markets.
Mom can speak walrus?
A
record of 64 down to its final 2. Tennessee and A&M with a national championship on the line. That ball is hammered out of here. What a start for the Vols. Rounding and coming home. We got to play at the plate. Safe at the plate.
Hunter Inslee just pulls a Houdini act.
Swing and a miss for the first time. Rocky Top reaches the mountaintop. They are the World Series champions.
You ever seen Houdini?
No.
Never been to Australia, never seen Houdini. What about the impact Tony Vitello has made?
Well, I'd say it's pretty obvious there when you look at that graphic. The consistency with which Tennessee has played at the top of the sport over the last 6 seasons is unprecedented for the program.
8 years ago this week, he left this job and took the job at Tennessee. We all knew he was an elite recruiter and a hard worker. Was there any thought that he could be this successful as a head coach?
I don't think this fast. I mean, the pace at which it happened, because, I mean, Tennessee was not in a great spot from a program standpoint when he got there. He's also a stadium builder now, too. I mean, what they have going on at Lindsey Nelson is going to be outstanding when it's done.
Berkey, have you ever built a stadium? I got the Berkey bingo card.
We got to find a yes in here somewhere.
There's not a whole lot of them.
Even with Legos? No?
Oh, definitely not with Legos. No, that is not my lane.
Well, in too deep in this scenario with the bases loaded and the 1-0 is low. Brandon Arvidsson making his second appearance this weekend. Have you ever stepped on a Lego?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
thousands of them.
Aloy at third, Kojal at second, and Iredale at first. It has been a very comfortable afternoon for Arkansas fans since that 5-run fourth, but it's a fan base that kind of lives on the edge. Like they're always afraid they're going to step on a Lego again, and a big part of that was coming up a pop-up short of winning a national title. This is a fan base that has been hurt, to put it mildly.
And itching to get back to Omaha.
It's about 6 hours and 10 minutes. Depending on whether or not your car breaks down in Kansas City to get from here to Omaha. There'll be a whole lot of them to make that trip.
Bases loaded walk. Hogs will put a 9 spot on the board. Third straight walk from the Tennessee pitching staff. And the bases remain loaded. They can keep those fun hats on in the stands. Let them fly. Justin Thomas Jr. walked and scored a run in the third and took a healthy hack at that one. 0-1. One ball, one strike. Froze him and went 1-1.
Well, that's frustrating as a hitter. You're about to be up in the count 2-1, and that swing count goes against you there on a check swing. Now Thomas got to deal with that breaking ball. One thing Arvidsson has shown down the stretch is the ability to get swing and miss from both righties and lefties.
He changed this staff. I mean, when they started going to him, and it's been longer outings too, not come in and just get a left-hander out, but another one that they've really had a high trust factor in down the road.
Two to Thomas. Misses low.
Well, some really good take right there. You figure Arvidsson, after throwing a loopy one, would come back to it. And now with the bases loaded, he just walked Robinette on a 3-1 breaking ball. Now, another 3-ball count. He's got to deliver something in the zone.
He doesn't. Fourth consecutive walk from this Tennessee pitching staff, and another run will jog home. LSU and West Virginia tonight at 6 Eastern in Baton Rouge. That is if they turn the faucet off. It is pouring at the box last we saw.
It was 105 on the field yesterday and raining sideways today a little bit ago.
More action in the Tennessee pen as Charles Davalon stands in. I'm digging the Dykstra comp. I didn't see that before. Tony Vitello calling time. He couldn't get a strike from Arvidsson. Talked about how Arkansas rebuilt after getting bounced from its own regional last year. What's next for Tennessee?
Well, this time of year, these coaches, heck, we see it in Omaha all the time. Even if you're still playing, it's all about the portal.
They've already signed a couple of guys.
They've already signed a couple guys, but as soon as your season ends, it becomes all about building your roster back up for next season.
Well, they didn't want to get at it this early, but it looks like Tennessee will. Dylan Lloyd, the lefty, enters with the bases loaded and only one out, still in a jam.
Fire it up.
The all-new Dragon Flame Grilled Whopper is here at BK. Bold, juicy, flame grilled, and ready for adventure. Experience a new kind of flame at Burger King. How to Train Your Dragon, coming to theaters June 13th.
Sunshine came.
Blind spot that's never out of sight. How it should be. The Hyundai Tucson.
Now for a limited time, get 2.99% APR on the Hyundai Tucson. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today.
When the monsters come, all you can do is scream.
You were the last person to see the president alive. Did you kill him? They will never see us coming.
Better?
Yes, better.
Arkansas close to punching its ticket to Omaha. Murray State with a 19-9 win against Duke. Racers and Blue Devils will play in Durham at Game 3 tomorrow. And UCLA trying to finish off UTSA. They're in the 8th inning at Jackie Robinson Stadium in Westwood.
A little trivia for you. How many times do you think UCLA has been in the College World Series?
6.
This would be their 6th. This would be their 6th. 10, 12, and 13. Won the whole thing in 2013, but haven't been back in over 10 years.
How many times do you think Murray State's made it to the College World Series?
Zilcho.
Zilcho. I haven't heard that word in a long time.
I haven't heard it ever.
We got a Zilcho.
Was it accurate?
Yeah,
okay.
Nailed it.
Went away.
They hadn't won a postseason game since '79.
That '79 team came one win from advancing to the College World Series. Got word from Red Stick. First pitch in Baton Rouge will be 7:06 Eastern, 6:06 Central as they try to dry out. 2-0, and Davalon looks at a strike.
Well, if you haven't watched Murray State and Dan Skirka's club play, they're well worth the watch. Their center fielder, Jonathan Hogard, is a blast. He can go get it from gap to gap, and he's hitting a cool 337 on the season.
Chopper to short. Keelan kicks the bag, goes to first, and a 6-3 double play. Finally finishes the 7th. Not before the Hogs do more damage. It's a 9-run lead for Arkansas.
The all-new Dragon Flame Grilled Whopper is here at BK. Bold, juicy, flame grilled, and ready for adventure. Experience a new kind of flame at Burger King. How to Train Your Dragon, coming to theaters June 13th.
Onboard Wi-Fi that goes wherever you go. How it should be. The Hyundai Elantra. Now, for a limited time, get 2.99% APR on the Hyundai Elantra or Elantra Hybrid. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today.
Sunday Night Baseball's in the Bronx tonight. Game 3 of the series between the Red Sox and the Yankees. Boston evened the series last night with a 10-7 win in Game 2. It's Sunday Night Baseball, Red Sox-Yankees series finale tonight, 7 Eastern on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Radio. Hunter Dobbins going for Boston. Carlos Rodon getting the ball for the Yankees. Hogs go to the bullpen after Gibbler gave him 2 2/3. It's Aiden Jimenez.
I guess you got the start, the opener of the regional this year. Jimenez out there. Strike thrower, not as much swing and miss as you see from some of these other Arkansas arms, but ultimately a guy that generally is going to give you a chance by keeping it in the zone.
Here's Levi Clark. Mentioned, by the way, Murray State and Duke playing again tomorrow. Duke was one of how many places that set a single game attendance record this weekend?
3.
That is impressive.
Pretty cool. And there was over 10,000 here yesterday. Duke, Auburn, and I believe Oregon State was the 3rd.
Speaking of Duke, how about the game Kyle Johnson had yesterday for the Blue Devils? Playing because A.J. Gracia was suspended for game 1. Had not had a 4-hit game all year. Was hitting about $150 to start the day. Goes 4 for 4, a homer, 2 doubles. And then today started the game. Now, it wasn't his best start. Ended up taking the loss, but pretty cool two-way story going on in Duke. And Kyle Johnson was the winning pitcher when they played Georgia in the 1-0 game of the regional. Got to have some of those guys emerge in the postseason oftentimes to do something special, and Duke looking to make their first College World Series appearance since the 60s.
Yeah, 61. Ace Parker took him to a 5th place finish in 61.
Old Ace Parker.
Yep.
That's my guy right there.
Anybody named Ace in baseball is doing something right.
He sounds like a dude.
Chris Pollard is their head coach now. Did you realize that Enos Slaughter was a head coach at Duke throughout the 70s?
I did not.
No. Played for the Cardinals, a 10-time All-Star and a Hall of Famer. Two 2-0 to Cannon Peebles. Enos Slaughter, by the way, learned to run everywhere he went on a baseball field, because when he was in the minors in the mid-30s playing in Columbus, Georgia, he slowed down near the infield and walked the rest of the way. His manager was Eddie Dyer, and he said, quote, "Son, if you're tired, we'll try to get you some help." He never walked again. In fact, he would sprint down to first when he was walked. 2-2 is pulled foul. David Eckstein do that?
Yeah, Eck was known for that.
That is not making it. Three-two pitch. Little nubber handled by Vahiva Aloy, and there's 2 down.
You like to ask me trivia questions. I'm going to ask you. The most famous player in Duke baseball history? You know this one?
Yeah, I already know it because I've met him, Dick Groat.
You met Dick Groat?
Yeah, when he was calling games, calling radio for Pitt.
And what particularly about Dick Groat is so special?
Well, he was drafted everywhere, right? He was drafted in the NBA.
There you go.
He played in the big leagues.
First number to be retired for Duke basketball.
Yeah.
Not bad, KP. Hall of Famer in college basketball and baseball.
It's good run.
Here's Manny Marin. And a count 1-1.
We said it when Jimenez came in, and this is what he can do. It's fill the strike zone up, strikes out Clark to start. Good slider right there to get back in the count.
I think the most impressive thing about this Arkansas bullpen is they have true roles, but they also have guys that can do different things on different days depending on how the game's going and how the matchups present themselves. But Jimenez, Gibbler, and Coyle and Gackle can all give you length, right? And then you got guys that can also give you swings and misses with Fouch down there that can run it up to 100 miles an hour. It's just a very diverse bullpen.
Here's Iredale. Aussie, 42 Wallaby Way. 1-2-3 frame. We head to the 8th. Tennessee's got 6 outs left.
The new How to Train Your Dragon menu is now at BK. Get it before it disappears. Oh, toothless. Bold, tasty, and dangerously delicious. How to Train Your Dragon. Coming to theaters June 13th.
Onboard Wi-Fi that goes wherever you go. How it should be. The Hyundai Elantra. Now, for a limited time, get 2.99% APR on the Hyundai Elantra or Elantra Hybrid. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today.
At Planet Fitness, there's strength in numbers. The number of different workouts to do.
1, 2, 3.
Different clubs to do it in. Friends to do it with.
Looking good, everybody.
Yeah, we are.
And the number of ways to recover from it all.
You got this. Come on.
And it all adds up to one membership. The Planet Fitness Black Card. Access any location, bring a friend anytime, and recover in the Black Card Spa.
One more, everybody.
We're all strong on this planet. Planet Fitness.
Ten runs and 8 hits for Arkansas. A run on 4 hits for Tennessee in the Volunteers season. Coming down to its final 2 trips to the plate as we head to the top of the 8th. Arkansas playing in its home building, but as the visitors here, second game of this 3-game series.
Not too many of them have left this place.
No.
By the way. 9-run lead. They are hanging around to see if Arkansas can hold on, which looks like they will, and then watch this team dogpile on their own field.
Well, I mean, wouldn't you rather be here? Herman's is closed on Sundays.
Good point.
Vahiva Aloy is 1 for 4. Maybe Nick would be nice enough to open the doors for us. Berkey and I missed our group dinner.
I know.
How was it?
It was wonderful. Should have sent you pictures.
I was hoping for a doggy bag, but pictures fine too. To short. Keelan's got him. Time for our Capital One rewarding performance.
I would say it's got to be Logan Maxwell and a grand slam that absolutely changed the complexion of this ball game. Just when it was looking like Tennessee was going to dodge their way out of some traffic, Logan Maxwell really put an exclamation point on a offensive explosion with a 5-run fourth that stretched this lead out.
I would give 1A to Davalon's swing. And obviously it got Arkansas on the board and the place was going crazy. Here's the other thing it did, I think, is it starts to give you a little bit more doubt in that Tennessee dugout about Doyle's stuff today. And ultimately, you know, they went and got him in a spot that you wouldn't normally see him go get him. And that's when this Arkansas offense came alive.
Maxwell looking for another hit, and he's got a 3-knock afternoon. Hindsight is 20/20. There will be questions as to whether or not Tony Vitello should have taken his ace out of the game in the 4th inning. You said at the moment you thought it was the right call.
I thought it was fine. I mean, again, we had talked about it earlier, where you're balancing what your eyes are telling you today as opposed to what the workload has been over the course of the year. And the eyes today said it wasn't Doyle's day. I mean, he was fighting himself. The misses were big. When it was right, it was very good because he's one of the best in the country. So, no, I think it takes guts to do it because I'm sure they'll have to answer for it. But it was a move at the time that I understood.
But it was also the book on Aloy, which is right-handed breaking balls. And if you see the way the bat against Aloy started, Krenzel was clearly getting the swing and miss they were hoping to induce when he came out of the bullpen. It just kind of unraveled on him.
Nothing into to Ryder Helfrich, who is hitless. Where does Doyle go in the draft?
Well, most of the mocks have him in the top 5. I've seen him as high as number 2 to the Angels, but from a couple different sources. So he's clearly positioned himself to be one of the first arms off the board. There's a few really talented left-handers. Of course, Zach Root for Arkansas, one of them, but Cade Anderson and Liam Doyle and Jamie Arnold will all three probably be top 10 picks.
Arnold at Florida State, Anderson at LSU. Pop up to shallow left, racing back Keelan. Bargo coming on. Keelan makes a catch across the chalk. And 2 down.
How about this, too, in the kind of as the portal turns game? So if this holds, Gavin Keelan's first stop, Louisville, will be in Omaha. Andrew Fisher's first stop was Duke, who, if they win tomorrow, will be in Omaha. And Liam Doyle's first stop was Coastal, who will be in Omaha.
You never know, do you?
No.
You never know.
I'd like to thank Joe Healy for that, actually. I didn't come up with it on my own, just so you know.
I knew you weren't that smart. Way to go, Joe. And just to say it, if I haven't said it 24 times already, everything means nothing.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joe.
Nothing makes sense. Aloy 1 for 4. He's gotten out in the air 3 times today, and so he chops this one to Iredell just to make me look silly. Dug out by a Fisher. Nice play over at first. No runs, a hit. 1 left on. Tennessee's got a couple more cracks.
The new How to Train Your Dragon menu is now at BK. Get it before it disappears. Oh, toothless. Bold, tasty, and dangerously delicious. How to Train Your Dragon. Coming to theaters June 13th.
The Kia K4 and K5 represent what comes next. next movement for innovation. And the next movement for acceleration. The Kia K4 and K5.
Kia, movement that inspires.
Sunshine.
Got one more, Antoine.
With USPS Ground Advantage, it's like you're with us every step of the way. Cool.
Right on time.
Stay in the know from your dock to their door.
Somewhere in middle America, Omaha, Nebraska, and the Men's College World Series begins Friday. You got a pretty neat town, Kyle.
It's all right this time of year, boys. They'll be ready.
Those
Appears
guys,
like they will be too.
Yeah, they've been busy. Remember, good sports always recycle. Here's Gavin Keelan. He is 1 for 3. The 13th time Tennessee has allowed 10 runs in an NCAA tournament game, the 3rd time in a super regional. Lost to Evansville last year 10-8, beat East Carolina in 2001 13-10. Was that in Kinston?
That was a fun game.
It was in Kinston, North Carolina, wasn't it?
I believe we were up 9-2. Lost the lead 10-9, came back and won it 13-10. That was a fun one.
Historic Ranger Stadium.
Chad Tracy hit a ball that night that I would have liked to seen the TrackMan numbers on against us.
Now 3 balls and a strike to Keelan, who is 1 for 3. Arkansas has scored 10 runs or more for the 40th time in an NCAA tournament game. The 15th team to hit that mark. So Keelan with the walk. We kind of had some trivia going on a minute ago, so somebody's going to take it to the next level. What program has the most titles? There you go. There's question number 1.
USC.
Yeah. Don't they know who they're putting the questions to? I mean, can we get something a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay, who's been there the most? You know
Texas.
This. Yep.
Thank you. 2 for 2.
What else you got?
Most consecutive appearances.
Like the number?
Yes. Which team has the most consecutive appearances?
I got to look at the monitor.
To the College World Series.
Yes.
USC.
This is College World Series trivia.
Go back to USC. I like that call.
You like it?
Final answer.
State 7 in a row.
That was the Incaviglia days.
Mm-hmm.
What he
Great
hit?
unis.
He had 56 one year, I think.
Most career games
has the most career games played? I'm going to go. Let's all get a guess on this one.
Well, they went 4 straight years.
So
right. I'm going to go. I'll go Inky.
Oh, that's pretty good. I'm going to go with Fred Lynn. I'll mix it up.
Yeah, I feel like you already know this one. I'm going to go Brad Beanblossom from Oklahoma State just because I love saying the name, and they made it 6 years in a row.
And he's from Louisville.
Well, we're all wrong.
Oh. Garrett Core. Take a bow, young man.
Or Gore. But, yeah.
That's what I said, Gore.
We do have a North Carolina grad as our producer, so he was going to work that in.
Uh-oh.
Well, that's not a good sign. Jimenez helped off by the athletic trainer after Matt Hobbs went out to the mound to chat with him. And so Arkansas will go to the bullpen another time. And we'll take the break, try to dig into Jimenez. Back in a moment.
The new How to Train Your Dragon menu is now at BK. Get it before it disappears. Oh, toothless. Bold, tasty, and dangerously delicious. How to Train Your Dragon. Coming to theaters June 13th.
This is not just a pharmacist.
You could try this. Yeah.
This is another woman who gets it.
Got one more, Antoine.
With USPS Ground Advantage, it's like you're with us every step of the way.
Right on time.
Stay in the know from your dock to their door.
This is the last pitch Aiden Jimenez threw. Watch Ryder Helfrich's reaction, the Arkansas catcher. He saw something he didn't quite like and got the trainer's attention. Matt Hobbs came out. And after the leadoff walk, Jimenez taken out of the game.
The velocity on the fastball had been up to 95 in the inning. That last one was 90, so sometimes that's an indicator that something's not feeling quite right. But give Helfrich credit for being that locked in that spot. He saw something that he wasn't comfortable with.
Here's Parker Coyle Jr. out of Edmond, Oklahoma, facing Andrew Fisher. First pitch up to Fisher. 14th appearance for Coyle. He's 3-0 with a 1.33 ERA. That's an 11-1 strikeout to walk ratio. Pretty good.
Likes the cutter. You'll see a lot of cutter sliders, especially to the left-handers.
Big cut from Fisher. Yankees Red Sox coming up tonight. Andrew Fisher grew up a huge Yankees fan. He said every year, if there was a birthday or a holiday or some sort of celebration, the gift was tickets to a Yankees game. In fact, he remembered a specific game where he and his dad slept through a 6.5-hour rain delay. They were sitting in the nosebleeds up in the grandstand, and they knew it was going to be a while, so they just laid down. Here's the picture with Mariano Rivera from when he was a youngster. That was the year that Mariano tore his ACL shagging fly balls. So he was on his boat in the Bahamas, ran into the Fisher family. And Andrew, when requesting the photos, said, if you take a picture with me, I'll give you my autograph.
I don't think Andrew's ever lacked confidence.
No. You know you're a big fan. I asked him to name his favorite Yankee, and he went through like 8 names.
Any off the radar names?
I thought Didi Gregorius was an interesting one.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, Jeter was on the list, but with Mariano, that's always on the list.
Of course.
Here's the payoff. Fisher also doesn't strike me as the kind of guy to give away an at bat.
No, I don't.
It doesn't matter what the score is. It makes no difference.
And if this is his last one in a Tennessee uniform, he has had one heck of a season. One behind the national lead in home runs.
Fouls another one off.
Led the conference in OPS. I mean, it has been a All-American type season from Andrew Fisher.
Fisher was at Duke and then Ole Miss. And I asked him when he was at those other places, specifically Ole Miss, what his impression of the Tennessee program was from the other dugout. He said, oh, villains. You hate them. We absolutely hated those guys. Gotten better every season. The power bump up 14 from his freshman year at Duke. Third in the country in long balls. And he gets a knock. First hit of the game.
And that's just one more chapter in an incredible season. What an at-bat.
It's just the ABs he gives you. I mean, the ones he can't do anything with, he's going to foul off and waits long enough, gets breaking ball that is going to hang in there just long enough to drop the head on it on what was probably a ball out of the zone, but hooks it into right. The Vols have their first 2 on here in the 8th inning.
He really gives you some Votto feels with the way he puts together at bats.
Here's Hunter Ensley. Tennessee down 9 of note. Should the Volunteers put together a massive comeback, it would be the largest comeback in super regional history. In 23, Oregon came back from down 8 against Oral Roberts. That stands as the record right now.
And did not end up winning that series. 8 in a super game. That's nuts.
Two and one. Just foul. They got a couple of souvenirs. There must be foul ball corner down there. Aloy scrambles for that one. One down.
It was interesting in hearing Dave Van Horn talk about Viva Aloy, and when he got here, played his first year at Sacramento State. He waited a week or two in fall ball and walked up to him during practice and said, are you going to let me coach you? And it was more defensive than anything else because Dave is a great defensive coach. And Viva Aloy said, yes, I'm ready. And he's turned him into one of the best shortstops in the entire country. I mean, the book when he got here wasn't going to hit.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily the defensive piece that people talked about, but he started every game this year. He's made just 6 errors and has been incredibly consistent.
Dalton Bargo 0 for 2.
Yeah, I think you could have predicted the level in which he was going to impact this team offensively, but the defensive improvement and consistency has really been impressive. Why he's going to be a first-round pick.
Down goes Bargo, and 2 down. All smiles in the Arkansas crowd today. Here's Dean Curley. Go back to that KP. What do you think are the attributes that make Dave Van Horn such a steady, winning coach?
Consistency all the way around. I think consistency from a communication standpoint, obviously the ability to recruit. this is going back, but he took Nebraska to the College World Series, and that was not even a consideration of that program. And then had a chance to come home and was taking this program to heights that they haven't seen before. But for me, consistency is the biggest thing. You always know what you're going to get.
Misses low. And if you want to see Dave Van Horn line up, just ask him about his triplet grandchildren. Fought off into right field. Keelan will be pointed home by Josh Elander, and he'll score without a throw. It's an 8-run game.
Tennessee cashes on after getting the two guys on to start the inning. Dean Curley, if that's his last AB in the Tennessee uniform, that's a heck of a way to go out. A kid that has had an up-and-down year, but been very good with the bat, and he will be remembered as the starting shortstop on a Tennessee team that won their program's first ever national championship. Probably will be a first couple round draft choice in the Major League Baseball player draft, but pretty impressive stuff, KP, to run out there at shortstop every day as a true freshman on a national championship team.
I think equally as impressive to be okay with the position change this year. I mean, you're the freshman shortstop and you win the whole thing. You just assume you're going to be the sophomore shortstop when you come back.
Shortstop in Pro Bowl?
I think he'll be probably somewhere on the left side of the infield. You know, he's got such a big physical frame. It seems like he would project more at third base, but was solid last year on a team that, you know, didn't know who was going to play shortstop to start the season because of some injuries.
Reese Chapman is 0 for 2, a fly out and a strikeout. Sandwich a walk. So Ray Tanner's boys can pop the champagne should Tennessee not pull off what would be an 8-run comeback, the most recent team to repeat back in 2010 and 2011. Why is it so hard to repeat?
Oh, I think it's mostly because to win the whole thing, you almost always have older players that are the ones that end up being the difference makers for why you're able to get across the finish line, and those guys go to Pro Bowl. Like, you just rarely can you replace the amount of impact veterans year after year. And really, on the recent trend, it's just impressive to get back to a super the next year.
1-2. Stays alive.
You got to have some racing luck too. Excuse me. I mean, you've got to have some fortunate bounces and moves and things like that along the way. And rarely have we seen the team that everybody says that is the best team that goes on and wins the whole thing, because there's so many variables to win a baseball game.
Well, what was wild about South Carolina, they not only won it 2 years in a row, they played for it 3 years in a row.
Yeah, the third year.
You know, that was an era where you could hold on to players longer, but still to make it all the way to the finish line 3 years in a row and to win it in back-to-back seasons, I don't know. In some regards, you might say it could be easier to do that now because of the portal, but I just think you're underselling the chemistry necessary to make that kind of run.
Yeah, you could have the talent year after year by spending some money in the portal. Breaking ball low. By the way, Tennessee had 2 hits yesterday. Only 6 hits today. Only 2 SEC teams have finished with fewer than 10 hits in a super regional. Mississippi State had 9 hits against LSU in 17. LSU had only 8 hits against Rice. Strike 3 looking. Volunteers scratch one across, but they leave 2 on, and the Arkansas fans can feel it. They are 3 outs away from returning to Omaha.
The new How to Train Your Dragon menu is now at BK. Get it before it disappears. Oh, toothless. Bold, tasty, and dangerously delicious. How to Train Your Dragon. Coming to theaters June 13th.
A blind spot that's never out of sight. How it should be. The Hyundai Tucson.
Now for a limited time, get 2.99% APR on the Hyundai Tucson. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hello. Maybe it's you.
Drive up that's ready when you are. Just tap Target.
Do anything.
Let's put magic fairy dust on Murphy and Buzz so we can play together forever.
Wait, I have a better idea.
The NCAA Baseball Super Regionals are presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? Omaha, Nebraska, the destination for every college baseball team that started the season back in February. And the Razorbacks are just 3 defensive outs from returning. Those guys mean mugging.
Dude's got his game face on.
Here's Cam Kojal. Nothing in 2 now to Kojal. Cam is a big outdoorsman. He loves fishing. He said fishing is like baseball. They go hand in hand. You're not going to catch a fish every cast. You're not going to get a hit every at bat. Full count. But he's landed a couple today. 2 singles and a pair of walks.
Pretty good day at the yard right there. 4 plate appearances, no outs recorded.
A little hop from Curley to handle that. So here we go. Arkansas, the top seed remaining among the 16 national seeds. Look at all that have already been eliminated. 9 of them.
Parity reigns this year in college baseball. We thought maybe that era had ended, but boy, has it been a really balanced tournament from a standpoint of teams from all over the country playing at a very high level. We've seen some non-Power 4 conferences really make some noise,
which is healthy. That is very, very good for the game.
It also shows you how many good players are out there. You know, the thought is if you're not living at the top of the portal and playing with one of the bigger NIL purses in the sport, that maybe you can't compete. And I'd say this year's tournament discounts that theory.
Yes.
Well, that
very
could,
loudly.
Yeah, and that could be one thing that could depress the market, so to speak. The other thing is the judgment from the judge out west.
Yeah.
House settlement finally approved.
Was just finalized earlier Friday. Yeah, the biggest thing is scholarships and roster limits, to where roster limits right now are 40. Next year, if everything holds, it would go to 34. You have to set that roster on December 1st. Now, you go from 11.7 to 34 scholarships if, in fact, you want to fund that many.
This ball is belted to left center field. It is into the crowd and gone. First hit of the game for Brent Iredale is a tater. Got 14 of those this year now.
Just an exclamation point at this time. You've been waiting to do that.
Oh, the tater. Trying to run it in underneath his hands, and you talk about knowing you got one. Brent Iredale stand there and admire his work. A bomb to left center field. This crowd was looking for something to stand up and cheer about. The Hog third baseman certainly delivered.
Go back to the House settlement. That's a huge jump in available scholarships. The question remains, how many schools would fund all of those scholarships in baseball? But regardless, even if you funded half of them, that's a big leap.
It'd be a huge leap, but I also think from a parity standpoint, one of the biggest things is the roster limit piece. You go from 40 to 34. There's 300 Division I programs out there. That's 6 less roster spots, which just becomes, to some extent, a trickle-down effect. That's 1,800 less roster spots than there are right now in Division I baseball.
It's a big number.
That is a really big number.
It is. And that's the unfortunate part about it, but I do think it will help. It will help the parity piece.
Do you like that as a trade-off, Berkey, as a college baseball guy, to get the scholarships available, even though it costs some roster spots?
No, because I think with the current NIL model, the coaches have figured out for decades how to get kids to pay for school and help them pay for school and all those. I think the players would rather have the opportunity to make a team.
Hot shot to Fisher. And 2 down.
And I know the coaches would rather the roster limits. Now, you feel a little hypocritical saying that because for years we complained about not enough scholarship money, but at the expense of less roster spots is an unfortunate thing.
Well, it's really going to put a stress on your health, especially from a pitching staff after December. Arkansas 7-2 under Dave Van Horn in Super Regionals, and Tennessee going right back to the bullpen again with 2 outs in the ninth. We'll take a break, return to Fayetteville in a moment.
Fire it up.
The all-new Dragon Flame Grilled Whopper is here at BK. Bold, juicy, flame grilled, and ready for adventure. Experience a new kind of flame at Burger King. How to Train Your Dragon, coming to theaters June 13th.
Look, Mom, I found one. Oh, yeah, you did, but we need an ATM from our bank, unless you want to spend a small fortune in fees.
No, thank you. Banking with BMO means more fee-free ATMs than the 2 largest U.S. banks combined, including places like pharmacies and grocery stores.
Saving money and more convenient. Look at you being so helpful.
What'd you expect? You're studying at a help stop.
That's you.
That's me, at a desk.
BMO. Hello, hello, hello.
Get same-day delivery and text a personal shopper for last-minute additions. Just tap Target.
When the monsters come, all you can do is scream.
You were the last person to see the president alive. Did you kill him? They will never see us coming.
Better?
Yes, better.
Tanner Franklin enters the game for Tennessee. 6'5" right-hander out of Jeff City, Tennessee, just east of Knoxville. 27th appearance, 1-2 with a sub-5 ERA. And he knows how to make an entrance, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's Crow Hop 102 to the backstop right when he comes in. The only difference this time is he did it twice.
Surprised a couple folks.
That'll get a few of them jumping back there.
Here's Justin Thomas Jr. Fly ball deep right field. Chapman settles underneath. And the last chance for Tennessee. Volunteers need 9 to tie, 10 for the walk-off, and try and keep their season alive.
Fire it up.
The all-new Dragon Flame Grilled Whopper is here at BK. Bold, juicy, flame grilled, and ready for adventure. Experience a new kind of flame at Burger King. How to Train Your Dragon, coming to theaters June 13th.
Look, Mom, I found one. Oh, yeah, you did, but we need an ATM from our bank, unless you want to spend a small fortune in fees.
No, thank you. Banking with BMO means more fee-free ATMs than the 2 largest U.S. banks combined, including places like pharmacies and grocery stores.
Saving money and more convenient. Look at you being so helpful.
What'd you expect? You're studying at a help stop.
That's you.
That's me, at a desk.
BMO.
A blind spot that's never out of sight. How it should be. The Hyundai Tucson.
Now for a limited time, get 2.99% APR on the Hyundai Tucson. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hello. Maybe it's you.
Drive up that's ready when you are. Just tap Target.
Everyone to Omaha, Nebraska, home of the College World Series. Holtz back and make the catch! Somehow hung on. Back-to-back jacks.
Men's College World Series starts Friday. Here's a look at half the bracket. Murray State and Duke will play for a berth tomorrow. UCLA has got a touchdown lead on UTSA and looking to secure a return to Omaha. On the other side, Louisville, Arizona, Coastal Carolina are in. Oregon State and Florida State meeting tonight on ESPN2 to decide that one. That's been a great series so far.
Yes, each of the first 2 games has been outstanding in Corvallis.
Christian Fouch is the new pitcher for Arkansas here in the bottom of the 9th. 1-0 with a 3.48. More strikeouts in innings pitched.
May see 100 right here, Tom, to finish this one out. Fouch has run it up to that number this year.
Face a new batter. It'll be the first plate appearance for Blake Grimmer this weekend. .326 and 4 home runs for the freshman. He's driven in 15. Mid one start in the regional, went 0 for 2 with a couple of Ks.
Talented young left-handed hitter, really made a name for himself in the midweek games throughout the course of the season. Got some opportunities in SEC play down the stretch.
It'll take a miracle comeback for Tennessee to extend the season. There's 99. That'll work.
Welcome to the ball game.
How do you handicap Arkansas's chances in Omaha? We only know a bit of the field, but more spots to be determined.
Well, I think you love their matchup just about anybody, right, KP? I mean, look at what they have, the talent that they can throw at you offensively and from a pitching staff, and then, of course, the bullpen today has really shown its star power.
They're as complete as anybody. You add those things to a defense that's top 3 in the country from fielded percentage standpoint. A catcher that routinely steals strikes like that, which makes that staff better. And yeah, man, they're incredibly dangerous.
And you said it, Tom. We haven't seen the bracket yet, but I think the matchups that Arkansas is capable of throwing at different opportunities with the bracket, whatever it presents itself, I think makes you feel pretty good about their chances.
I mean, we know who they're going to play game one, or at least one of the two that they're going to play game one. It's LSU or West Virginia.
Chris Newstrom is the second pinch hitter of the inning. Freshman from Phoenix. LSU was one of the lone series in the SEC that Arkansas lost. They also lost on the road at Georgia. They dropped the first two games of that series, then felt a little bit better coming home from the box. Got a win in game 3. Talk about heat on the mound if they get matched up with LSU.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Well, I just think this is a fan base that's starving for a national championship. They have a team certainly capable of delivering on that, and I'm excited to see the presence of the Razorbacks in Omaha.
There'll be a lot of them there.
Yes, they definitely feel like this could be their year.
The Omahogs, the Alohogs. Did you get one of those Hawaiian shirts, KP?
I did.
Have you rocked it yet?
I haven't.
We need a pic of that when you do.
You won't.
This is a great state for baseball, and it is a passionate fan base. One of the reasons they're close to the attendance leaders each and every season. It matters here, and they have come up just short on a couple of occasions. And should Arkansas win it all, it will be as cathartic a championship as you've seen in years. Maybe in any sport, given how close they've been and how much it matters. Here's the 3-2 to Newstrom. And it's sent into left center field, 99-mile-an-hour fastball, and Newstrom motoring his way to second. UCLA is returning to Omaha. So we've got half the field set.
Congratulations, John Savage. That was a program that has had some dark times over the last few years. I mean, just last year, they missed the tournament.
Yeah. And different going into the Big Ten. It just is. I mean, the travel's totally different. But they get one of those top 16 hold serve at home, and it'll be the fourth time that John Savage has taken UCLA to Omaha.
Pretty low stress, too. I know yesterday's game was tightly contested, but they, similar to Coastal Carolina, have not dropped a game. Of course, Arkansas looking to be another team that makes a clean run through the first two rounds.
Want to know to Colby Backus. Johnson City native. He's driven in 1 on the year. This will be the first time Arkansas in the postseason has swept through the regionals and the Super. And they will have done it without much more by holding this potent Tennessee offense as of now to 5 runs on 9 hits over 2 games. Dave Van Horn will move to 8-2 in Supers.
10 times it made the Super since he's been there. That's
incredible, really.
That's saying something.
Mm-hmm.
One-two to Backus. Swing and a miss, and Arkansas is 1 out away from a return to the promised land. Jay Abernathy will be the 4th consecutive pinch hitter for Tennessee here in the ninth.
You asked the question what Tennessee looks like next year, and you've seen glimpses of it in this inning. Abernathy, another freshman that'll get an at-bat here, who's had a fair amount of playing time.
Yeah, started out the season really in the mix and got some meaningful starts early, but Tennessee kind of went to more power down the stretch. But I'm with you, KP. I think a kid like Jay Abernathy really seems to be in the plans for this Tennessee team moving forward.
Christian Fouch on the mound for Arkansas with 1 on and 2 down. And Abernathy takes a strike. Freshman from Atlanta out of North Cobb High School. Graduated with honors after an All-America playing career. (101), 97 that time. Newstrom is the Tennessee runner at second. Only question left, you think the dog pile or stay all business?
I think you got a dog pile. I'm always pro dog pile, Tommy.
Here it would be a hog pile.
Well said.
1-2 to Abernathy. Staying alive. That's about a big a grin as you're going to see from Dave Van Horn.
Finally time to smile.
Yeah.
One strike away. Left side for Iredale and into the seats. Arkansas's first trip to the College World Series was 1979. This will be their 12th. Made it to the finals twice, came up short both times. Here's Fouch's 1-2 to Abernathy. And it's crushed deep right field. Maxwell will watch it fly off the scoreboard. Abernathy shows some promise with a 2-run home run here in the 9th inning.
Well, that's a first one he'll never forget. How about the freshman coming off the bench and extending the game? First home run of his Tennessee career. Hanging split, KP?
Yep.
Something soft.
Yeah, it was a slider that just kind of came back in towards the barrel. But, yeah, no home runs on the season in a career. Tell that swing, and no doubt to the right that keeps this one going.
So the 5th straight pinch hitter comes to the plate now for Tennessee. Ariel Antigua. And he takes 97 at the knees for a strike. Fan base has been on its feet for a while now. Antigua hitting for Andrew Fisher. His run will come to an end with a 1-for-3 night with a walk. And he will have ended the season having reached base safely in every single Tennessee game. Here's the 1-1 to Antigua. Takes a strike again. 1-2. Popped out of play.
Tennessee not making it easy on Christian Fouch, wasting a number of different pitches here where Fouch is just trying to give this crowd what they're on their feet for.
Arkansas had a 2-1 lead through 3, a 5-run fourth. The difference in this one. And Fouch trying to clean it up. Here's the 1-2. Up and away. "11 runs on 10 hits for Dave Van Horn's team."
Get an Arkansas team that I think so often during the season we said they're as good as anybody in the country. They showed it again this weekend. A little sloppy today, but I think understandable just based on the way that the game went. But a couple days off, then head about 6 hours north to Omaha, and a whole lot of them in red will be right behind them.
Yeah, and this is a team that has swept through the postseason. They've shown you the ability to shut people down with their pitching staff. They've shown you the ability to hit the ball out of the ballpark, and certainly a team that's going to be a force to be reckoned with at the College World Series.
Trip number 12. They've already got it on the outfield wall, and Arkansas chasing that ring. Fellas, that was a lot of fun. Have fun next week.
Thank you, Tom.
See you down the road.
Always fun, brother.
Always is.
Coverage of the Men's College World Series begins Friday, 2 Eastern on ESPN, and Arkansas will be there for the 12th time. For Chris Burke, Kyle Peterson, our fantastic crew here in Fayetteville, I'm Tom Hart. Enjoy Omaha. Dave Van Horn and the Hogs are headed back. Now, Sunday Night Baseball, here's Carl Ravitch.
Fire it up.
The all-new